There was a time where darkness was upon the earth.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikas Rajiv. Guys, welcome to the show. Your first time here, do hit that subscribe button. And what an awesome show we have today. Sorry, guys, we are half an hour late because of the time confusion and everything. But finally, we have our amazing guest with us. So we are right on here. And before we jump in with our guest, I want to give a quick hello to our co-host from all the way from New York, Mr. Gene Edited. How are you, brother?
Hey Vika, what's up, my brother? Doing great today. It was a long week, guys. Sorry about the delay, everybody. The time change isn't worldwide, and it's definitely confusing, and that's what it's geared to do, to throw us off kilter and throw us off schedule, keep us out of bounds, all that stuff, right? So I definitely apologize. We really appreciate everybody hanging around and waiting. Love you guys. So definitely, bro. I'm ready for a great show. I'd like to thank our guests for coming in, and life's a busy place, everybody. So we really appreciate all you guys being here, hanging out. Our guests in the chat, you guys are awesome. And yeah, if you can introduce our guest tonight, brother, I'm really psyched. Can't wait, man.
All right, our guest for tonight is supposed to be the host of one of the most amazing podcasts on Spotify called the FirmaMental. The name is amazing. The content is amazing. These guys are amazing. We were waiting for them to be here. Raul from FirmaMental podcast. Raul, welcome, brother.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. Yeah, it's kind of, I'll take the blame for the podcast jumping off late. There was a little miscommunication going on. I do have a co-host. His name is Alex. Thank you guys for being patient and waiting for me to make it on. I'm actually like rocking from my teenage son's room. I should be at home doing this with the whole setup, but I still made it. I saw a message from Vika last minute and I was like, oh my goodness, I felt so bad. I jumped on as quick as I could. So I'm here. I'm with you guys. I am one of the two hosts from the FirmaMental podcast. We've been out for about 9 months now. The Lord has totally blessed us. Our podcast has grown at a tremendous speed. We're just now eclipsing 100,000 plays in less than 9 months, and we're connecting with other podcasts that are in the truth community. We don't just do episodes about flat Earth and our level playing geocentric realm that we live in. We like to talk about a wide array of subject matter. So we will talk about anything from the mystery religions, the occult, things that they would call conspiracy theory. We know that they're not just theories. A lot of these things are true. So I like to call us conspiracy analysts, not conspiracy theorists, because we all know that was a term that was created to discredit people that questioned the narrative during the JFK assassination, right back in 1967. What was it? So, but definitely it was the flat Earth subject that made me want to really get into the podcasting game. There's 3 of us behind FirmaMental. So it's myself, my co-host Alex, and then we have a producer named Claude. We're expanding our website. We have a book that we're selling exclusively right now from another tremendous podcaster, from Dispatches from Reality, my buddy Scipio Eruditus, who also has a new book. We're carrying that book exclusively. And we're looking into expanding and start doing video streaming content. We're not sure if we're going to do a paywall yet, membership accounts. We might even just continue to do the value for value thing, because that's what we've been doing, airing no advertisements, just doing everything. If we ran an advertisement, it was for a fellow fledgling content creator or an author selling a book that we believed in. We've never aired any ads on our platform. We don't like to do that. I know me, myself, as a podcast listener, I don't like to be hit with ads, especially when it just breaks oddly in the middle of a conversation that's flowing well. And just super happy to be in this game. I will give a shout out to George Hobbs from Flat Earth Files, and Vika. I heard you on a recent episode with him. That was an amazing, amazing episode. And it was so cool to hear 2 of my favorite people in the Flat Earth community have this conversation together. And I really believe, like, I don't even remember what episode it was, in the 40s, I think, maybe episode 52 that I was on with George Hobbs. And, you know, I'm a fairly new flat earth believer, you know, in this, I like to call it level playing geocentrism, but I'm fairly new, maybe eclipsed a year now under my belt. But I'm one of these people, once I'm committed to something, or once I find something to be true, I'm balls to the wall, 100 miles an hour and running. And I will give George credit as the one that helped me make the turn on being committed 100% to the truth. Because once it hits you, it drops like a ton of bricks and it floors you. And I just remember it was one of the, I mean, I've been a conspiracy analyst for years and years now, you know, and I was cool with all of them. I was cool with the JFK thing, the 9/11 thing, GMOs, chemtrails. I mean, you name it, you know, like I was on board with it. The flat earth thing, I think I don't know how it didn't hit me in the heyday of YouTube, right? It had its run where it was going uncensored, and it was like the most researched, you know, is the most hit subject, and it, you know, it wasn't being censored. You know, there wasn't all these, it wouldn't funnel you to all these videos that give you, you know, that put it in a negative light. Like, it had its free run. And I didn't catch it at that time. I guess I've never been a huge YouTube user. Back in those days, I was probably listening. I would probably just go to YouTube to watch old rock videos so I could reminisce and drink beer and watch old videos, music videos. I just didn't hit me. And I probably, if I ever did see something come up on the screen, it was like flat earth, I probably just laughed. I was like, that's ridiculous, dude. Come on, man. We all know the earth's round, you know, and I just shunned it off. And lo and behold, you know, fast forward a few years later, just recently, obviously, like I said, about a year ago, I do have a regular job, and I'm in the armed security field, and I am allowed to wear earbud on post. So that's why I like podcasts, you know, and I like music you can only listen to for so many hours, and then you have to switch it up. So I really got into podcasts. I really got into listening to, I was listening to a lot of Macroaggressions with Charlie Robinson, listening to George Hobbs' other podcasts, Fact Hunter. I liked Truth. I like the Bigfoot. I'm big into Bigfoot and stuff like that. So I had my podcast that I would listen to. And I guess because of this algorithm, that it kept shooting me this Flat Earth Files. And I was like, come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, but then I noticed that it was George Hobbs. And then I started to hear George talk about this new podcast that he started. And I'm like, oh, man. And I respect George so much. And I was like, you know what? I say I'm open-minded. You know, I need something new to listen to, because I had listened to, I mean, every episode of Sasquatch Chronicles. I had listened to every episode of the Confessionals. I was all caught up to date with Macroaggressions. I was like, okay, this is how I became a flat earther. I said, I'm going to give this podcast 10 minutes, dude. I'm going to give this, I'll listen to episode 1. I'll give it 10 minutes. If it doesn't catch me in 10 minutes, I'm moving on to something else. Well, lo and behold, here I am. I put episode 1, Flat Earth Files. And I think episode 1 is called Why the Lie. And within that 10 minutes, George managed to capture my attention. And I wasn't sold right away, but I was definitely like, whoa, this is super fascinating. This is super intriguing. And hold up, what did he say now? Like, what? The moon landing's fake? Like, I've never really looked at that. Like, okay, hold on. I got to look at this stuff. And yeah, so I started episode 1, and it took to maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks of me, consuming some of his episodes. I don't know how many he had at that time, maybe like 6 or 7. Listened to them all. And I started going through his bibliography and watching all the video links. And then, of course, I went and I watched 200 Truths with Eric Dubay. I went and watched the Level movies. I started looking at the moon landing thing more. I started looking into the occult side of NASA, Operation Paperclip, high jump, all this stuff. And for me, what really hit me was when you start to realize all the math just so happens to be like 666 and everything. And then you realize all these people are all occultists, that we're all in bed together, so to say, with air quotes, and they all from the same bohemian clubs, and they're Nazis, and they're doing stuff with movie directors, and it's like, why, dude? Like, what? And then you look at the moon landing, you're like, that is ridiculous. And why haven't we been back? And you start asking these questions. But when it really hit me was when, for me at least, the flat earth nail in the coffin was when the sky clock hit me, because I even though I'm not one of these people that like to push my faith on others, I am a follower of Christ. I call him Yeshua. I don't like mainstream Christianity. I think it's very watered down, and I think they're avoiding a lot of truths. And I think it's been infiltrated by the enemy in a lot of ways. But I am definitely a follower of Yeshua, so I'm a Bible believer. And, I know the story of Genesis, and, I used to always make it try to fit with mainstream science, or how does it fit with, how does creationism fit with the Big Bang and so forth? And how does it all come together? And I used to try to think like that it was a mixture of the two things together. And when you think about it, that's completely ridiculous. It's like, no, there's divine creation, and then there's the Big Bang. And so I went back and I reread Genesis, and I was like, hold up, man. The Bible is a flat earth book. And I was like, hold up. He created the earth before he created the sun and the moon. And here it says that the sun and the moon are its own lights. Not the one light that reflects light off another. Like they're two own separate lights, and one to rule the day and one to rule the night. And the stars are for signs and seasons. And then I started to think about when I started to hear in the videos, they were saying like the distances aren't what they say they are, and they've never been beyond the firmament and this and that. And I was like, that does make sense. And then the eclipses, like, how could these one that's 93 million miles away block out another one that's 237,000 miles away, and they just so happen to cross paths and are the same size? Or I look in the size during different times of the day or times of the year, and they're basically relative in size to one another. And I started thinking about things like crepuscular rays, and I started letting my senses speak to me, and I was like, bro, this is the biggest deception of all time. And when the sky clock hit me, that's when I was like, boom, I'm sold, man. The sun tells you the time of day, the moon tells you the time of month, and the stars tell you the time of the year. And then I realized, like, we have the stationary star, Polaris, and boom, that was it. Ever since then, I've been off and running. It only took me a few months, and then I went on George Hobbs as a guest. And then from there, it was George was like, he's like, you got a lot of good energy. You got a good voice. Like, you ever thought about, this is off air, not live on the, maybe we did talk about it during the episode, but he's like, have you ever thought about podcasting? And I was like, you know what? Obviously I had bought some equipment, and I was going to do a show on the paranormal subject matter. I was going to interview people, because I myself have had weird things happen to me. I'm not going to get into that now, but I've had weird things happen to me in northern New Mexico. It's a very strange place. I'll just tell you that. And so I was going to interview people, and I was going to start with people in my own state. I had a handful of people I was going to interview about extraterrestrials and cryptids and this and that. Never got it launched off. But then it hit me. Like, when he told me that, I was like, you know what? This people need to know about this. And I was like, you know what? I have all this stuff sitting here. I've never tried to do it, but you know what? God spoke to me, convicted me in my heart. I felt like it was all lining up. And I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do it about. And yeah, so I started it. First few episodes recorded in the closet. Alex joined me after episode 5. He was my first real guest, and we just had such good chemistry. I decided to ask him if he wanted to be my co-host. And yeah, I mean, the first few episodes is just me in my closet. I'd send the audio to Claude. He's been with me since day one, and he was helping me add music, and we started it like that. First few episodes are just self-narrated, and then after that I had Alex on my show as my first guest, and then we started FirmaMental, and I think we're on episode 79 now, is going to be coming out. We recently had you, I think you're episode 74, 75. And yeah, you're probably curious, for people that haven't heard of us, if you're curious about the name. I believe it was a divine download. There was so many other like fledgling podcasts. I love Heliopsychosis, by the way, too. That's awesome, dude. That's an awesome name for a podcast. Probably the second best next to FirmaMental. No, I'm just kidding. But, we had
FirmaMental. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was Flat Earth this, Flat Earth that, and what sucks is a couple of these podcasts I started listening to have jumped out of the game, have left the game, and it's hard. It's hard to stay in the pocket and stay in the realm and take this heat. And people be like, "Are you serious, dude?" And invest so much time into it. It takes a lot of effort. Like, for those of you out there that don't know, these guys have to put a lot of time and effort into doing this and sacrifice a lot of their own personal time. So props to anybody who's in the game doing this. And there was a lot of Flat Earth this, Flat Earth that. And I was like, man, I don't want to just be another Flat Earth. And I started thinking, what's another silver bullet proof of the realm that we live in? And I was like, the firmament. The firmament was what really hit me, like one of the things that hit me hard. So I was like, well, firmament, what can I do with the word firmament? And then it just hit me, man. FirmaMental. Like, in firma not only means signature or strong, and then mental obviously meaning mind. So not only does it represent the firmament, like being strong and where the water's separated and the realm that we live in, but it also stands for signature mind or strong mind. So you can incorporate both.
A firm mind. Exactly.
Yeah.
Firm mind. It is what it means. Firm mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an awesome name. The logo is amazing too, brother. Your voice is also amazing. So keep going, brother. And yeah, big shout out to our brother George Hop. That also was one of the best podcasts also we had, right? Amazing talk. So he's doing a great job. And as you say, we all should keep that, because it takes a lot of effort and keep going in this and bringing the truth and bringing all the people together. So, brother, for you, which was a part, like the most important one, which was for you out of all of them? The flat earthers have so many different ways, like, but which was the, apart from the firm, you say the FirmaMental, right? Apart from that, what do you think was that which you like really was, or was giving you a hard time? You're saying, no, this has to be in any specific ones?
Are you just talking about like what made it so difficult at first to
yeah.
Well, I think when you set off to do something like this, our very human side comes in and says, are you sure you're going to do this? You're going to catch a lot of shit. Like, because I started talking to people about it, and I started bringing it up to coworkers, people that I would run in with, my family members, my woman, my kids. And they're like, Dad, you and your crazy conspiracy theories, you and this and you and that. Oh, this is just a phase. It's just something that he's looking into.
All of us.
Yeah. Went off a deep end.
Yeah, dude. They're like, oh, my dad will be on this this is my oldest kids. My oldest son's about to be 21. So he was like, what, 19, 20 when I first started with this stuff. And and then the second oldest is about to be 19. So they're young men. And I know how they were. They were like, oh, because their friends would come over and play PlayStation and do this. And I rap and MC and their friends would come over and kick freestyles. I'll go in the room and they know me as a cool dad that come in and like kick freestyles with them. So my son and their friends, I'm like, oh, I'm cool with all of them. but I'm always telling them all my crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, do you guys know what that means? Or like, do you understand what that symbol means? Because I switched it because I realized even my son has in the back of me over here, he has the OK symbol. And I was like, man, people are going to think I'm some kind of like Satan worshiper, like
Mason.
Chill.
yeah. They're going to be like those people.
Yeah.
This is my son's room, but like I tell him stuff like that. Do you know what that means? I'm like, that's 666. That's 1, 2, 3, 6 times. Like they're making the 6. I was like, I tell them about, all your celebrities, they're all sold out. So I'm always telling them all this crazy stuff. So when I start telling them the earth is flat, they're like, oh yeah, dude. They're like Connor and Larry's dad. He's that crazy dad. He's cool. He's funny. He knows his stuff, but he's kind of out there. But they're like, this will come and go. Well, let me tell you what, it didn't, because I realized this is the biggest lie. Like if they could pull this off, what else can they pull off? And that's what I realized.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything, bro.
Yeah. You realize everything. You start to look at everything with a much more critical lens. And that's what it did for me. And like you say, I guess what the most difficult thing for me was to just get past myself, to be like, I believe in this so much. And I believe people need to stick their neck out there, no matter what kind of flack that they catch, and be willing to, I'm not saying like we're martyring ourselves, but it could come to a time where, who knows, like we might have to martyr ourselves for the truth. Are we willing to go that far? Like, I would like to think that I have that kind of strength, but do I, when it comes down to it, when the shit hits the fan? I don't know. But I definitely felt like I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to stick to it. I can't give up. But thank God I met other people along the way that helped pushing me, because I ain't going to lie. If I was trying to do this all by myself and I didn't have Claude and I didn't have Alex, I very well might have stopped at one point, being a dad, having a full-time job. I have 5 dogs, 2 cats, 4 sons. Life is busy. It's crazy. Inflation. Yeah, it's everything. But I'll tell you what. Flat Earth is important. And people always say, why is it important? Well, if everything that we have been taught is based on a lie, man's greatest accomplishment was based on a lie. Everything that these heroes and that's what it's done. It's exposed other truths to me, that they've erected people throughout history and they gave them the status of hero. And even our education system is so doctored. A lot of these people that we believe are heroes were actually put in those positions to push political agendas, to further drive us apart from one another. It's a cookie cutter system that creates non-critical thinkers who don't ask questions, who don't question authority, and just hit the workforce or become reliant on the government's tit. And I started to see it, and I was like, dude, this is why I was so resistant to the system. And like, people think anarchy is like this negative word. They think it's so bad, and it's really not. All it means is less government and more power to the people. It's just been given this negative connotation by people who don't understand what it really is about, and they make it seem like it's these extremists. Like, no, a lot of people
running around the street shooting each other. They're anarchists. That's what they want us to think.
Yeah,
it's the same as conspiracy theory. They these catchphrases are twisted, and they don't mean what they really mean in the public's eye.
Yeah, exactly, Gene. And I don't know. That's just how big Flat Earth is to me. That's what it did for me. It took me to another level. It levels you up. Like, if you would ask me before Flat Earth, and you'd be like, how well versed do you think you are in conspiracy? And I always use that with air quotes. I would have told you like, oh, dude, I don't know if I say black belt, but I'm good, dog. Like, what do you want to talk about? What you want to talk about, dog? I'm good with it all. Let's go. And then you probably would have said Flat Earth. I would have laughed at you. But what Flat Earth really did, and what you realize once you get exposed to Flat Earth, you're like, holy crap, man, I got so much more to learn that I didn't realize I have to learn. And it sent me very, very deep down the rabbit hole. I had to pull myself out from time to time. But for me, it was a very enjoyable one. It wasn't like some of these other ones, like Oklahoma City bombing, or, Bohemian Grove, or Human Sacrifice, or the underbelly of Hollywood, and some of these other ones that we get into that can be very dark and depressing. For me, it was
exactly.
Yeah, Flat
exactly,
Earth.
brother.
flat earth was liberating. It was so freeing. It was like, hold up, man. If we can expose this lie, we can get our world back. We can get it. We can, because if people can grasp this, then everything that they've lied to us about will crumble. Like this will be the Jenga peg that we pull that makes their little new world order collapse. And that's what it did for me. And it made, like, like I said, I believed in God and I believed in Christ, but did I? Was it belief or was it knowing? Because I think there's a difference between believing and knowing. Like, I used to believe in God. Now I know God's real. And that's what flat earth does, man. It proves to you 1000% that you are a divinely created being and that we were placed here for a very specific reason and that you have a purpose, and they cannot take that from you once you know this. That's why it's so important, folks. That's why it's important. Isn't that important? Don't you want your kids to know that? Like, we're not going to be, we're not on this topless space water ball just hurtling through the cosmos, could get slammed at a meteor by any time. And then I start to look back in it and I think about things like meteor craters. There's how many of them? Like 200 meteor craters, various around the world. I was looking at the other day, and they're like, how many fallen angels were there? 200 that fell with Lucifer. And it's like, and then you look at them and you're like, well, if they were space rocks that came in at these tremendous speeds and were spinning and traveling, how come there's not skid marks as they hit across the earth? They just look like bubbles that popped. They just hit and boom, there was no trail mark. Like, everything you think, they're like, oh, those were meteors that slammed from outer space. No, they're not. Those probably were bubbles that popped from inside of the earth at one time. You know, the mud flood, that's probably when God opened the canopy of the firmament and let it flow in, and it sprung forth from the top and from the fountains of the earth. Changed the water levels of the earth inside the cup, you know, inside the bowl. You know, and you can make sense of all this stuff. You just got to look at it with a critical lens. And I'll challenge you folks, go stand at the beach and look right to left and tell me, do you see a physical curve on either side, right to left? And you can bring things into focus from very far away. That destroys the curvature. We have friends right now doing laser tests across a lake that's 29 miles apart. And they're shooting lasers across the lake perfectly aligned at 6 feet and 6 feet across on the other side. And it's hitting perfectly. Like, if there was this curve, like, it would be going 30 feet above their head, you know, because of the shape of the earth. Like, it's not, it's perfectly flat and level. You know, it's called horizon. It lays perfectly horizontal, you know, and then your senses speak to you. We're not living. And then they're like, well, yeah, it's level because that's your perspective, you know. But no, we're not living on a paper towel roll. If there's curve going this way and we're on a ball, there's curve going this way. How come you can't see it right to left? Like, dude, God gave us our senses for a reason. We see things for a reason. Do you feel like you're moving? Do you feel like you're spinning? Do you feel like, because from what they say, man, these speeds are pretty tremendous. And then not to mention, like, you know, not only are we spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, we're trailing the sun at what? It was 66,600 miles an hour. But now they changed it to 66.7 because they know we're hip to that now. So they got to do a little tweaking, a little tweak there, because they know it's waking too many people up. But
same with the tilt. It used to be 24, 23.4.
Yep.
And now they changed it to 23.5, I think, or something.
Yeah, it's just they keep tweaking and changing things a little bit here, a little bit there. But I think what they really do too is they overwhelm us with these astronomical numbers. You know, this is light years away, and the distance, and the 93 million miles, and this and that, and warp speed and light speed, and you know, when you start talking to just the average person, and you're putting millions and millions and millions, you're talking about light years, you're talking about all these crazy theories. People are just going to be like, okay, I believe that guy. He went to Harvard. He went to Princeton. He's wearing a white coat. He's telling me the truth. I believe him, you know, and because these people have these titles, we just believe what they say, but we don't realize that they had to go through that that Rockefeller indoctrination system, they went deeper than anybody else. So they're not only are they probably deeper in the indoctrination, they're also probably part of their clubs because they went to these higher institutions at these higher universities. They get involved in fraternities. They get involved through the fraternities. They get introduced to these occult groups, and they become buddies, and they push this agenda and this narrative on us. And they overwhelm us with their astronomical numbers. And that's the way they keep people confused. And people are just like, I don't even need to look into it because it's already been done. Like, no, you do need to look into it because it's a lie. They're full of shit. They've never been out there. And it's funny. Like, you look at all the current space programs, like, Amazon and, Elon Musk and all these guys, they keep kicking the can down the road, and then you go look at their videos and you go look at the Indian moon landing, and you go and look at the Japanese moon landing, and you look at this and you look at that, and you're like, freaking my Atari had better graphics back in the 1980s.
Bro, it's pitiful. 50 years later, after 69 to 71, look what they're handing people, and they're cheering it on like this is amazing. Look what they're doing. I think it's a litmus test, and the more they're gauging how many people are fucking hypnotized by this nonsense, and it tells them what they could do next and how far they can go in other places. It's a gauge for them.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, it's kind of the same thing they did with COVID, right? It's like,
Hot word, brother.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I forget. Like, this isn't FirmaMental. Yeah. So we'll take that statement. That's my own personal thoughts. You know what I mean? Reflection has no reflection on heliopsychosis here, but yeah, there's a lot of strange things go on in our world.
This is the thing that people, as you were mentioning before, right? The people won't believe their own senses, but they will believe the guys in the white coat or the ones who will come on the TV, right? And if the people cannot believe their own senses, what will they ever believe, right? So they start with that fakery with the space and all this, and everybody believes. So everything else they're gonna feed us in the future, everybody is gonna believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just hand over their senses to the authorities. All their opinions are formed by these ideas that are they're not founded on any facts or anything. They're all hypothetical chalkboard drawings of impossibilities in reality. And that's what, like you said, the numbers are so astronomical. It loses people. Like, oh, okay, I ain't good at math, and that's the end of it. It's over. They hand it all over to these guys, and it falls into this a terrible belief system. It doesn't matter what they say, man. They could have, dinosaurs on the moon next week. It'd be like, oh, look, I knew it. I said that 2 years ago. I knew that was there.
Yeah, just like there's an image of Pluto on Pluto and all this stuff that they like to hide and they laugh in our face,
And the same year the dog came out for Disney, same year, 6 months off or whatever, and it's like, oh no, so it doesn't connect like that, it connects like this, and people don't figure it out. They give them all the room they need to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a terrible shame.
Yeah, it just goes hand in hand with the fear mongering too, right? That's what I think about the heliocentric model, is that it introduces chaos into our realm, because if we're not protected by this protective barrier and we're just hurtling through outer space, but according to them, like, what the Earth is, I don't know how many billions of years old they say. What are they saying now? How many billions of years old?
4.5.
Okay, so they say the Earth is roughly 4.5 billion years old, right? They want us to believe that a pressurized system, because we have to have a pressurized system to contain the world's gases, right? We live in a greenhouse, right? Basically, but how are these gases staying here? Because if not, they just float, but then they say space is pressurized, but according to them, there's no firmament, according to them and their model, right? There might be the Van Allen radiation belt and this and that, but you can't have a pressurized system next to a vacuum. Like, how does that work?
Without a container, you need a container to hold it in. They say gravity is the container, and it's 14.8 pounds down here, and it tapers off to nothing as you get higher and higher. It's all backwards nonsense. It's all Satan backwards. It's why we call it heliopsychosis, bro, is because the people that believe in this they're already snapped, and they make terrible decisions, and it compounds in life, and this is where we're being pushed as society. And then you throw in the financial problems, and then it's like, you think all the psyops we went through, you talk about JFK, we'll start there. All the psyops we've been through that would deliberately, cause and effect is what they're doing. The Hegelian dialect over and over, it's problem, reaction, solution, left and right, and, and the schools are teaching it. So, bro, we got our hands tied, man. We're fighting the mental disorder that's in society. And it's hard to call it a mental disorder because maybe that's not fair. Maybe that's harsh. But, they're causing this. This is no accident, man.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah, go right, bro.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to elaborate on something that you touched on, and it was something that was said by Scipio Eruditus. It's a buddy of ours, great podcast, Dispatches from Reality. He's actually the one doing the laser test, but he said something on our show the other day, and it was so tremendous. And I need to get back to the point that I was trying to make about the fear mongering, but I will say this. Scipio said on our show the other day, there is no political solutions for spiritual problems. And for people to think that we're going to fix what's going on, and I'll just start. I know Vika's in Spain, and like my co-host lives in Canada. You're in New York. We're both Americans, though. I may be out here in New Mexico, and you may be up there in New York, but not just in America, but I'll just start here in our own backyard, Gene. It's like people think that they're going to fix this problem by the way they vote, and I'm going to vote the right guy in this time, and it's going to change everything. People need to understand that this paradigm and these two options that we've been given, and listen, I did fall for the whole Trump and Biden thing the first go round. I was on the Trump train. I was like, oh, maybe this guy is for us, and maybe he is going to drain the swamp. And then hold up, now let's reflect on what goes on. And then I start to look, and he's a cabal practitioner. He's got ties to the elite.
He's going to hire a special prosecutor, Space Force. Left and come on, guys.
Operation Warp Speed, everything was fine. I'm not going to get into that. But I started to look at the track record, and I'm like, dude, like they're basically it's like pick between two evils. There is no political person that's going to come and rescue us. It's up to us, folks, and our Creator. Get what you got. For me, it's Christ, but I don't push my beliefs on other people. But dude, you got to find it within yourself. We have to wake people up, and we have to put they'll have us. They get people emotional with all this stuff, and that's what heliocentrism does. It's we almost got slammed by this meteor. We almost got slammed by that. It's always these near misses, and that was my point. Why I asked you, why is this? It's the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, folks. And we've been hurling through space at these tremendous speeds on this ever-expanding galaxy ride with all this stuff flying around, all this chaos, big bangs, explosions, all this. And you're going to tell me that this place hasn't been obliterated? We've just been winning the lottery for 4.5 billion years, traveling through the cosmos, and we haven't hit one of these things that just completely decimate us. Like, think about the
5 mass extinctions.
Yeah. Imagine the amount of luck that would take. Like, it takes more faith to believe in their bullcrap with the Big Bang, and that we grew out this primordial ooze, and we were at one time these single cells that went into an amphibian, that went from an amphibian into like a monkey, and then a monkey to this, and like they can never provide the missing link, and it's like, dude, to think all these just events going one after another, and they're going to tell us how this all took place over 4.5 billion years. But yeah, you ask them, how did they make the pyramids? And they're like, oh, it's a mystery of science, bro. Like, come on, man. You guys
aliens.
know. They know. Yeah, they know how the pyramids were built, man. They were shown this stuff by the fallen ones, but at the same time, like, the human beings had access to this stuff. That's why they hide these truths from us. They hide the fact that there's free energy from our toroidal system. They hide the ether from us. They don't want us to know all these things. I think that there's been multiple resets, and that they are slowly selling us back. That's been my biggest one later. And I'm actually wearing the Old World Order shirt now. This is going to be Sean Hibbler's new documentary about mud floods in the old world. This has been my new toy that I've been playing with lately. But I think that even in recent history, and we think that our ancient man was these knuckle draggers, or we think about the Dark Ages and this and that, and like, where did all this knowledge go and then just disappears off the face of the earth? And then all of a sudden these people are back to living in darkness. And then it starts to come back in the Renaissance and all this. I think all of history is such a fabrication to these people, and that they've hijacked our history from us and rewrote it. And I think even as recently, this is what I've been coming to realize, as in the 1700s and 1800s, there were advanced civilizations that existed here in the United States. There was people here, not only the Native Americans, there were other peoples that had come here. Even Black people were here before the slave trade. There was Vikings here. There was giants in the land. And I've even heard something so fascinating where they said that it's a possibility that there's this new theory that they suspect that the Garden of Eden had been in Florida. And what was very interesting about this, I don't know if you've heard this, but 27 of the 28 tree species that are referenced in the Old Testament exist where? In the Everglades area, this area of Florida. And they say that the Noah's Ark was made of gopher wood. They found it in Mount Ararat in Turkey, I believe, right? But it was made of a very rare wood called gopher wood. Now, where does gopher wood grow naturally? The only place where gopher wood grows naturally is in this one area in Florida. So is it possible that and here's an ecosystem that is super, how many animals could this ecosystem house? You know, and there's a major tributary that breaks into four other rivers in that area. And it talks about the river that sprung forth four. And you know, and the what is their names? The Seminoles, the Seminole Indians that live in that area. There's a specific offshoot tribe, and I'm not gonna try to say their name because but they speak a tongue, and their garments are actually it's like old Aramaic, and it's weird. Like, how are these people practicing these spiritual rituals? The clothes that they're making, the garbs that they're wearing, the tongue that they're speaking is actually like, it is almost exactly like ancient Aramaic. And these people supposedly had no contact with them. So have we been lied to about our history? Did some of these events actually take place in other parts of the world? Was there advanced civilizations? Go look at Serpent Mound in Ohio. Where did that place come from? And it aligns to a certain constellation, and it points perfectly to Polaris. There's pyramids in Alabama, dude. There's
Alabama too?
Yeah, there's pyramids in Alabama. And I don't know if you've been hip to researching the whole Grand Canyon thing, dude, but all the different structures inside certain areas of the Grand Canyon, and they're all named after like different pyramids and different ancient gods. And they say that there is actually there's pyramids and Egyptian sphinxes in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. So like, have we been lied to about a lot of this stuff? Was there advanced civilizations already here in America? Were there giants here? You know, the Native American tribes talk about encountering these things. And just as recently as the 1800s, they would have us think that they did these things called the World Fairs, where they erected these giant cities, and they built these whole elaborate cities with advanced rail systems and the latest science technology. And then they tore them down just for fun. Or there's all these old buildings that have architecture that is so advanced, but they were operating on horse and buggies, and they built them in a year or two, and then they decided to burn them down or tear them down and rebuild them again later. And then if you look at our construction nowadays, it's so drab and just so angular, and just not even
square and black.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, that's one thing that Flat Earth opens up is just a world of all these other lies. And have we been lied to? And I think that we've had these technologies even in our recent past, and these people somehow pulled off a reset. They took these technologies from us. They have them. They know about them. They're the dispensators of them, and they slowly just release it to us in little increments. But instead of letting us have it to liberate us, they use it to enslave us.
Yeah. You know, Raul, think about all the cities. There's dozens of cities back in the 1850s, whatever, a little closer. How many cities, burned to the ground because a cow knocked a candle over?
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah, the Chicago fire.
Yeah, San Francisco. There's a few of them. Boston. But it could have been another technology though, too, stone buildings burning to the ground. It could have been lasers or something like that. We don't really know. A lot of speculation, but we're doing the footwork, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, they want us to believe that these cities burnt from natural fires, but we're talking about stone and brick structures. We build our fire pits are made of stone and brick. They don't burn down.
Well,
like
bricks
how
are made in a kiln. You can't burn them anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what it would take to melt a brick after it's a brick. It's an amazing little tool, a brick. It's lasted through the ages, brick.
Yeah.
Because it's versatile. It's a tremendous building material. You could stack like 1,000,000 bricks on top of one brick and hold them all on one brick. That's how strong. That's how much compression strength they have.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. And then to think that these places were just rubble and ash after these events. Like no way there would have been remnants. Like it would have burnt the wood and it would have burnt some of this. But it's like, yeah, dude, I honestly think there was advanced direct energy weapons, ancient direct energy weapons used, and it's kind of coming around again now too. Like we see a lot of weird things going on now with our world too. I don't know if you guys have been seeing all this stuff with the green lasers popping up around different metropolises. It's been spotted in Texas, parts of Florida. And I heard a lot of people speculating, like, obviously what happened in Hawaii and Lahaina and stuff. Like, is this
Brazil
stuff?
too? I think, right? Didn't a similar situation just happen in South America somewhere?
Oh, dude, yes, there was massive fires. Where was it? In Chile, I think it was.
Chile.
Yeah.
Chile.
Okay. Yeah, you hear little clips of it. Lahaina was here and gone in 72 hours. It was over.
Yeah.
We were talking about it. That's it. You hear nothing about it. It's just, the news is a clown show in this country. Well, anywhere probably. It's not just here.
Well, that's why they need to keep us distracted, and that's why people need to wake up from the matrix. That's another thing that Flat Earth did for me was it showed me to stop wasting my time with things that didn't matter. Look, I used to be a huge sports guy. Do I still pull away from the rabbit hole? Do I still take off the they live glasses and like to live in the world, this world, fabricated world? I still do. What I've learned is I have to, but we know that we can take our glasses and we have to put them back on. People are walking around. They never put those glasses on. They never put those they live glasses on.
Yeah.
Like I can go and I can watch something. I can take the glasses off, but as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna put them back on. And I still, I like, but I used to be a big sports guy. I've kind of like, I really don't watch sports anymore. It's a waste of my time. And do I consume some here and there? Yeah, it's more like combat sports I really like because MMA fighters can still speak their mind and not get canceled. I've kind of gotten sick with the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, all their narratives, gay pride month, this month, that month, political agendas, Black Lives Matter, all this stuff. I'm like, dude,
it's all rigged, bro.
Yeah, I know it's all rigged.
I was at a college game today, man. I walked in there with ref rage because it's like as soon as the game started, I'm like, I hope that goes both ways, guys. With the calls, and it didn't. They didn't throw the game, but it could have been a lot better at the end. It was like, back to ref school.
Yeah, I'd like to think that college maybe isn't manipulated, and I like March Madness. I've actually been watching some of that, but yeah, man. As far as the major league sports, man, I'm just really turned out. Like, will I still go look and dibble and dabble and watch some here and there? Yeah, I will, but I look at it like it's not important. I used to get so worked up. If we could get so passionate about some of this stuff, like people get so upset. Like I see dudes, their team loses, and they're on one for a whole week. They're just decimated.
Devastated,
and they're so
right?
angry, and they'll smash their living room to pieces because their team lost. And I'm like, bro, if you had like even a shred of that amount of passion for the injustices that's happening around the world, for the amount of money that NASA's stealing from us, like pay that money back. Let us do something good with that money. You know, about the $100 billion they're sending every month to proxy wars, about you know, the agendas that they're pushing on your children in school. Can't we have a little bit of that same passion towards some of this stuff that's even more important? And that's why, like, I still pull away and I'll look at this stuff. I'll watch a movie here and there. I need to laugh, so I still watch my cartoons. I still do my stuff. But for the most part, you know, this is got my attention, and I'm passionate about it, and I'm gonna keep talking about it, and we're gonna go as long as we can on all these platforms that we have access to. And if they censor us on one, we'll move to another. And if it takes us building our own and doing it internally, we'll find ways to do it, but we're not going to stop. And if it come down to where, you know, I'm just completely had this digital book burning and we're totally, you know, blocked from doing this stuff on these avenues, man, I'll be out in the street. I'll be a street preacher talking about this stuff, man. I ain't going to stop. You know, like, but I still live in this world. I still do consume some. I ain't gonna lie. So I like to laugh. I'll go watch The Simpsons. I'll go watch Family Guy. I'll watch stupid, silly movies. I like to laugh, but I look at them for what they are. And what's funny now, and you guys know this, Vika, you know this, Gene, you know this. Once you're a flat earth person, once you're somebody who's aware of occult symbolism, we probably annoy a lot of people that we watch movies with, because we're like, did you see that? Did you see that? You know what they're doing to you? You see how they're programming you? Like pause it, rewind it. Let me break that down for you. They're like, dude, Dad, let the freaking movie play.
Definitely true. It could be like a wet rag on it, you know, because I do it a lot. It's hard for me to stop. You know, any part of the narrative's got serious issues, man. We're behind the 8 ball right now. We ain't got time to play games, guys. You know, we need people to really snap out of it at this point. You know, it's 2024. We're living in 1984. That was 40 years ago or so, right? We're behind, and we got our hands full.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, Vika? Like, how do we win this battle, brother? How do we win? Because we gotta have hope, man. It can't be doom and gloom, right? And that's what I always try to do. I'll tell you this. It's something that I've had to work on, and I'll be very candid with your listenership. The last few weeks have been very challenging for me. Like I lost a close relative. I had a good friend of mine lose his wife. These were early deaths. I didn't respond to him the way that I should have. It was very challenging. I've had a very challenging time at work. And actually, dude, I started a new job this week because I'm transitioning into a new position. So there's a lot of change. There's a lot of things going on, and it tested me. And it was like, how do you react to it? And then at first I reacted not the way I should have. And thank God I have my brothers to keep me accountable and set me back on track, you know. But the one thing I realized too is doing this is the enemy knows what we're doing. The enemy knows the work and the things that we're trying to accomplish, and us trying to wake up humanity, right? And any opportunity, we're putting ourselves out there to be, you know, for them to come after us, because we're out here doing what everybody else should be concerned about and doing it as well. But we're putting it upon ourselves to help wake our brethren up. So we're very susceptible to spiritual attacks, and we need to be very on our game and keen of what we're doing, what we're feeding our body, what we're feeding our mind, what we're feeding our heart, how we're operating in the world, who we're spending our time with. And that's one thing I'm learning. And my brothers have taught me a valuable lesson over this past week is I'm a very extrovert person. So I tend to like want to give my energy to people and go full force and share all that I have. But sometimes I give too much. And sometimes it's okay. And sometimes introverted people are the opposite. They need to learn to give more and not keep it all to themselves. Sometimes I give too much, but I'm learning these things. And one lesson that I've learned over these last few weeks is as much time as we spend exposing the darkness and learning what our enemy's up to so we can expose it, we have to spend that much time, if not more. I think we should be spending at least 60-40, if not 75-25. Spend focus the problem, focus what the enemy is doing, identify it, give it 25% of your time, and then spend 75% of your time in the light, doing light work on yourself or with your brothers and sisters that you're working with in your community, in your podcast, in your platform, whatever it is, in your research, reading the Bible, reading scripture, whatever it is, on positivity and how we fix the problem. Because if we're just always in the rabbit hole, just always dark and talking about, oh, the enemy, and they're so ahead of the game plan and agenda 2030 and how do we beat the clock, and it puts too much pressure. Like we need to have hope. We need to be spending a lot of time doing light work as well as we're doing in the darkness. So I lately in our show, FirmaMental, we have really been trying to, we might get really deep, we might get really dark, and there might be dark moments in the podcast, but at the end, we always bring it back to, we can still win. We will win. Like we have to know our faith has to be that strong. Like our creator will not let us succumb to these dark forces. Like this evil will not triumph over the light. But what's your thoughts, Vika? Like, how do we win this?
Brother, we know the fight is what is all about, right? We defending flat earth against the globe earth. We know what we are fighting about, the light and the dark, right? So we have the light behind us. And as you say, the spiritual forces are going to try to put us on off track. And they did it. They do it, right? And that's where our willpower and our belief and our connection to the divine comes in play to keep going, because this can literally put you on off track, right? And a couple of incidents happened to me also last year. Our community here knows it very well, right? There are going to be events in our life which will try to question and ask you, are you doing it right, or are you supposed to lose everything for this? It's going to give you signs. It's going to show you some events, right? We have to keep going. Same way we believe in our creator, that he put us here, same way we're going to defend our truth, because why you think or we all are here for, right? Through our podcast, through our platform, through voice, through videos, through documentary, through film, is to that this light or this fire spreads everywhere. Every brother and sister, every living being should know this truth and open their eyes and connect with the divine, right? And we are putting, all of us, our contribution, even if it's minimum, it's required for this message or this truth of this divine, that he exists, because we are trying to show and prove that he exists through his intelligent design, how he has made it, how we perceive it. And it's not what the controllers want us to believe, that we are the speck of dust in this universe, right? So hope, for sure, hope is the last thing we should lose, right? In everything, in every aspect of life that we do, hope till the last second, till the last breath, in everything we do, right? So this is one of the most important truths we are defending, right? It is going to affect people around us, be it our family, friends, our children. Maybe they're going to make joke about it, like, hey, our parents are flat earthers, but they are feeding it. They know in their conscious, they know that, and they're gonna, in future in their life, they're gonna see it, and they already know it, because you are vibrating it there. You are vibrating with it, with that truth. We all vibrate with it. And the people who can understand, not in language, vibration is not a language, everybody can understand that language, consciously or unconsciously, what we are trying to perceive and say and do, and what could be the results of this in a longer term, right? So all we have to do is have the hope and keep going. The creator have given us a way, we'll go through our way, right? And we know deep inside, right, that it is the right way. That's why we're giving all our passion, all our time, all our compassion, everything we are giving it to it. That's the reason, right? And we hope, right?
Yeah, I just think about this and what you said. It's the way we glorify our creator is through when we triumph over tragedy, right? That is the testament to the strength of our creator and what he created in us, right? And I look at that like and now I need to listen to my own advice I've been giving people, because I tell people they want to blame or get angry with God and say like, oh, well, if God was real, or we had this divine creator, then why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why am I going through this? And as human beings, we have a tendency to want to blame everybody else for our problems instead of own our own shit, right? But I try to tell people, like, when you're experiencing something and you're going through hard times in your life, like, how does a blacksmith make a sword, right? He takes a lump of coal, he sticks it in a fire, and he beats the crap out of it with a hammer until he refines it into a sharp piece of steel. But it didn't start out that beautiful, sharp sword. It had to go into a fire and get beat by the blacksmith. And that's how life is, man. Like, maybe we're going through these hard times right now. Maybe you're going through a hard time in your life. Maybe you're in that fire and you're getting pummeled left and right. And you're just like, when is this going to stop? But if you embrace it and you realize that that's when God's doing his most work, then when you embrace the struggle and you become gracious in struggle and you continue never to give up and just keep getting up and dusting yourself off, and I'm not going to give up, that's when God's doing all his work and you will become that sharp sword. And I think that, like, that's where we're at right now spiritually in the world. Like, we are at this time in place where we, as brothers and sisters, stewards of our planet, we are getting beat left and right with this and that. And just like when you think it's going to stop, no, here comes another one, and here comes another one. And that's, that's like a great point that I wanted to make about even Lahaina. We forgot what happened in Lahaina. That was what, just not even a year ago. We forgot what happened in East Palestine, Ohio, the way those poor people got poisoned with the train derailment. That just happened. That just happened. We already forgot about it because we're distracted with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and who's dating who. And we're distracted with the Ukraine, and we're distracted with this, and we're distracted with that. And if they can't find something to distract you with, they'll find a new thing. That's why you got to shut it off. Shut it off, and embrace the struggle, but shut it off. Stop listening to it. Stop giving it that much of your attention. If you need to know something, go look, see what they're saying, and then go do your own research. But don't just stay there. It's mind poison. It'll keep you sick.
Raul, this stuff is kind of addicting, though. The fear mongering. They need that feed. After a while, it's it's enticing to them. It's kind of a feeding a hunger for it. And it's supply and demand.
That's true. If they didn't have an audience, there would be no demand, right? Well, you know what you say, Gene? It reminds me of, because I've never understood this, because I've never been really, but I've had relatives, female. I have a cousin in particular that comes to mind. Beautiful girl, beautiful soul, beautiful heart, talented author, writes poetry, paints, just pretty, just everything. Like, but she's always with these men that she used to be. She's finally learned, but she was for years and years with these men that just abuse her and beat her. And I'd have to like, oh, I'm going to fucking kill this guy, like, ugh. But I got to the point where I was so frustrated with my cousin. I'd be like, okay, just stop calling me. Stop asking me for advice, because I've given you my advice 100 times and you don't want to listen to me. And you keep going back to this dude. but it's the same thing with like humanity. I don't know what it is. Like people who are abused allow their victimizers to continually abuse them, and it's like almost like they get to the point where they feel like they deserve it or they need it. I don't know what it is. It's crazy. It's like this is going on with humanity now. It's like, bro, don't you realize what they're doing to you? Like, stop it. But like you say, it's like in a way they're addicted to it and they don't even know. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's so weird.
It's true. You know, the news at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 7 at night, whatever it is for you. You know, the news is bad. You know, they had Operation what is it? Mockingbird in the 70s. That was a conspiracy for 20 years. Now it's out on the table. It's not. It was real. Not a conspiracy anymore, right? And then they have the Smith Reformation Act, which makes that look like, you know, it makes it's that on steroids. You know, where Obama said, just go ahead, say what you want, and you can print whatever news you want as reality. Doesn't have to be factual based.
They can. We can't, right?
Oh no, we can't even speak the truth. Never mind, make something up, bro. You see, you see the dichotomy there, the twist of like that's so crazy, bro. To know something like that and then still go watch it, like, oh wow, what happened?
Yeah, it's very much rules for thee and not for me when it comes to these people. And that's how you can tell, folks. I'm going to have to run, and I'll let you guys continue on with your podcast. I'm glad that I got the message when I did. I think the Holy Spirit was like, hey, dude, you got something? Because I wasn't even going to look at social media. I just happened to pull it out and look real quick before I got on with my laundry. And I'm like, oh, crap, Vika. I'm going to let Alex know, man, hey, dude, you need to make sure you remind me next time. Now he's going to say, that's on you, bro. But I'm glad I made it. Sorry to make your listeners wait. Thank you for having me. I just pulled out my phone and did this via my phone. I would have liked to have a little bit nicer setup, but we would like to do this again. I like to do it again with Alex with me. And we definitely want to get you guys in. And Gene, man, you're awesome too. I'd love to have you as a guest on FirmaMental.
Thank you, brother. Anytime, man. Let me know. I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get your contact through Vika because I could tell, man, we could vibe, dude. We could get down.
Totally,
and on FirmaMental, we could talk about anything. We ain't scared. We'll talk about it all, bro.
Yeah. We do too. You know what it is? We just try to avoid the hot words. We'll go around the news word.
Yeah. No. So I jibby jabby or
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but we cover everything. Exactly.
Yeah,
we are just trying the algorithm. That's why. But yeah, we try to cover most of the thing, and we speak in codes too, right? So
yeah,
it works for us. So before you go, brother, just wanted to say to the people in the chat, guys, do check out the FirmaMental podcast on Spotify. You can even find the link in the description from FirmaMental, at least from Instagram. So there you will at least you will get to know which all podcasts Alex and Raul are releasing. So thank you, brother, for being here, Raul. And sure, maybe we see you next time with Alex. We are scheduled for 7th April. So just in case, all right, same time at 12 our time on 7th April, we are booked with Alex. So you can jump on too. And yep, brother, thanks for your time. We are glad that it was, even though it was short, that you were here. And yeah, brother, thanks for all your input and see you soon again, brother.
Yeah, real quick too, before I leave, I just did want to mention with the listeners. So we are on all podcast streaming platforms. So anywhere you find a podcast, you can find us. We do have our own website. It's the firmamentalpodcast.com. We are going to be expanding the website. We started a Substack. It's I believe it's just under FirmaMental. So you can find newsletters of upcoming episodes. There's linked to relevant articles, books that we reference, books that we're reading, movies, documentaries that we're watching, podcasts and other content creators that we like or listen to. I think Alex and I are going to start doing like little TikTok videos of
do it.
We started these episodes called ABCs of Conspiracy, where we run through the ABCs, but every letter of the ABCs has is a different conspiracy.
Nice.
So, and then I have my list and he has his list, and we try to purposely make our list differently. And if we have the same, we come up with the same one, we deduct a point. Last time we ran through and we only came up with one the same, and it was the damn Yeti that screwed it up for us. So,
why?
Screw you, Yeti. No, but we're gonna do more stuff. We just ask our listeners, who we call the FirmaMentalists, to donate to the show, because like I said, we just have been a value for value podcast. And like, praise God, man, praise the FirmaMentalist out there. It looks like we raised like $1,000, dude, like in the past like couple weeks. So we bought buy some equipment. We're going to start doing some video streaming. So it's going to be exciting, man. And if they kick us off one platform, we are on Spotify, has been the main distributor that I've been using, but we want to start doing stuff like StreamYard. So maybe I could get some advice from you, Vika. We're going to start, maybe even doing like live video streams, and where we collaborate with other podcasters, and we do like a broadcast that simultaneously at the same time. But go and check us out. Go check out our podcast. I think you'll find a lot of joy in it. Like I said, we got a lot of different subject matters. Sometimes we just like to clown around and have fun, because you got to do that too. And shout outs to my boy Alex and Claude, and all our brother podcasts, Dispatches from Reality, Truth to Faith with Cliff Stevens, Talking Stit, and Disorganized Productions. Those are my buddies out there, man.
And Flat Earth Files too, brother. Yeah.
Oh, Flat Earth Files,
yeah.
adores you, obviously, man.
Oh yeah.
And Vika, that's how I found out about you from Rob from Disorganized.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our buddy
Rob
from the
is
Netherlands.
great. Yeah, Rob is great. He was here also on our podcast 2 weeks earlier. Yeah, also an awesome chat. We were like few hours like going on.
Yeah,
Awesome,
man,
brother. Oh
have
yeah.
a good night, man.
Yeah,
Raul,
so
see you soon, bro. Thank you, man.
Hey, much love,
So-
Gene. You're awesome, dude. Yeah, we want to get
Thank
you
you.
on FirmaMental. Like I said, my schedule's changing, but once I figure out my new schedule, I might change the days that we record on. But we're gonna put a new Calendly, and we'll start sending out links, and I'll let Alex know about you. We'll get you on.
Psyched, bro. Can't wait, man. Looking forward.
All right, much love, guys. Thank you.
Same here, brother. Be
all
well.
right, there you
you.
have it. Raul from FirmaMental podcast, guys. Check out the FirmaMental podcast. See you, Raul, brother.
Go
See you
check
next
out
time
No
soon.
World Order when it comes out. Later.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's gonna be
yeah.
so great.
Bye, Raul. Hey, Keith,
Man,
you
that was
there?
Cool, man.
Hey guys, yeah, I've been hanging out the last 15 minutes or so.
How are you?
Cool. What was this shirt? Was that the Old World Order that Sean Hibbler's getting ready to do?
Yep.
Yeah.
Release? Yeah, that should be good.
I can't wait to see that, man.
Yeah, Sean does good work. So I don't know that there'll be anything too much in it that's new. I wonder if he's going to bring up anything about the possibility of the Millennial Kingdom of Christ already being in the past and those buildings being from that. That is such a trigger for Christian people. Oh my God. The Flat Earth pastor, Dean Odell, that did the debate. He came on my page because I mentioned something about it the other day, and he started going against it. And I said, Dean, you're coming off really arrogant. You're coming off kind of with the same energy about this, like Greg did about the globe. And he blocked me. I mean, within not even 2 comments, he blocked me. So, I mean, I'm not saying that is a thing. I'm just saying maybe. What's wrong with asking the question? If Jesus was real and if he meant what he said, is it possible that he did come back already and we had 1,000 years of peace and that's where all these amazing, beautiful buildings come from? I don't know. But what's wrong with asking the question and saying maybe? But boy, the Christians, especially pastors, they get triggered fast with that one.
Well, where do they say the buildings are from, though, Nikit?
I don't know. He's got some crazy theory about demons and the fallen angels and all this other stuff. But
yeah, that's what I've heard once or twice too. The demons, angels, and fallen angels built them.
But you got statues of humans all over them.
Fallen angels and all this other stuff. But yeah, that's what I've heard once or twice. Yeah, I really don't know what to make of it.
I don't either.
I don't know what to make of it, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I'm looking forward to the Hibbler thing. Let's see if he's got anything new on it.
I'm going to guess that Sean does not go there. I'm going to guess that that's not in the documentary. But
yeah, I have a feeling you're right, too.
But there's more people digging down that rabbit hole right now. And it's just like the more I hear about it, the more it makes sense. if it does, come out to where there's so much evidence for it, they're like, wow, yeah, it already happened. Dude, that's going to be just as big as flat Earth, especially for the religious communities around the world.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. So I just left a link in the chat for anybody to jump in because our host couldn't have stayed for long. So the rest of the time we're gonna have an open chat. Anybody wants to jump in? There's a link pinned, and I just shared it in the show here. If anybody can jump in for a short chat.
Is
Or
that
if
Dan there in the chat? Flat Earth Subgenius Society. Is that you, Dan? What's up, bro? Come on
yeah,
up.
there's Dan. Then there is also Mike is there in the chat. Yeah, and a few more people are there in the chat. Anybody no longer on the ball is also right there. If you want to jump in for a
Come hang
short
out, guys.
chat.
It'd be great to have
Yeah,
you on.
yeah, brother. What happened, Keith? Is like Dean Odell is you could see that all right, he's a flat earther. Yeah, he's trying to but sometimes people can get blinded by the too much of religion, right? Too much.
I
They
made
don't
the
want to yeah, go ahead.
I made the comment that Dean is great with this flat Earth stuff, but on this one, I think he's blinded by bias, and that's what brought him to my page defending himself. And then he said something, and then blocked me immediately before I even had a chance to ask him a question. But the point is, these pastors who are taking the tax break from the evil, wicked, corrupt government that we all have. Dean's point was, well, I've studied end time prophecy for 30 years. I've only studied flat Earth for 10 years. Okay, but once you found out the Earth was flat, that should allow you to question everything. And I'm saying, I don't think Dean or anyone else, who's a pastor or deeply into Christianity, has actually taken the time to question this. I think they just immediately defend their own perspective of whatever prophecy is or whatever the end times are. All I'm saying is, hey, let's question everything. Is this a possibility? If it is, then let's just do a little more research, do a little more digging. Let's have some conversations about it and see where the conversation goes. I don't think we can trust anything that we were taught prior to flat Earth without taking some time to sincerely question it and consider it.
But what was the really problem with Dean Odell and you? There was something that you guys didn't agree on, or what was the thing?
I made the comment that when it comes to this subject about the millennial kingdom of Christ, that Dean has been blinded by his own bias, that he has a belief about the end times. He has a very mainstream Christian belief that Jesus is still going to come back one day. And maybe he's right, but what's wrong with saying, hey, what if you're wrong? But when I made the comment that he's blinded by bias, he blocked me. I didn't even get a chance to ask him a second question. And I wasn't being rude. I just shared my point, my opinion that, hey, he's great at flat Earth, but when it comes to this subject, I don't think he's willing to even go there.
I don't have no idea about this millennial kingdom and what it's about, right? So I cannot really give my opinion on that.
The gist of it is through the Christian Bible, the New Testament mainly, is that Jesus would come back after his death, burial, and resurrection, and he would set up his kingdom on earth for 1,000 years, and it would be 1,000 years of peace, where the lion lays down with the lamb, and everybody is at peace everywhere. And then after that 1,000 years, for whatever reason, I don't know, I don't get it, the devil, Satan, whoever he is, will be released. And during that time, the devil, the evil one, the evil entity, was put into the bottomless pit. But after 1,000 years, he's released to come out of that pit to see if he can deceive the nations once again. So if the theory is correct that the millennial kingdom of Christ has already come and gone, then that means us today are living in what the Bible would call the short season of deception. And it makes some sense because every alleged authority, every government around the world is lying to their people about almost everything.
Yeah, you can't argue that.
Yeah.
I don't care how little the government, how many people are in that country, they've been heisted. They might not have a big part in the role, but they've been taken over. I agree with that, bro. 100%.
Yeah, like this.
And which is the next? Exactly. And which is the next institution after the politicians? For the
education.
lies.
Religion.
Well, religion and then education, they kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, the
Yeah, it's
political.
hard to sort the three out, right?
Well, I mean, and it's more
They've
than that.
all.
There's one guy. What's his name? I haven't listened to him in years, but he has a theory, and he's still teaching it for 20, 30 years, called the Seven Mountains theory. And he talks about the seven mountains of influence. Like, one is the government, one is the mountain of education, one is the mountain of entertainment, one is the mountain of religion. And his theory is that everyone in the top positions of influence on the top of these mountains are put there by the evil forces of the system. That if you want to try to go to the top places of influence, too bad. If you're preaching life and preaching, Christ, or preaching anything good and love and peace, you're not getting to the highest levels of influence on any of those mountains. So it's an interesting theory. It's an interesting perspective. And we say all the time here, guys, we're just trying to put together a big old puzzle. We're just trying to find pieces of this puzzle and put them together and see what we see. So this idea, I'm not saying that I have bought into it 100%. I'm just clearly saying that it does make a lot of sense when you listen to what the words that Jesus said. If the Bible's accurate, if it's true, if you can trust that the words that were recorded by Jesus, he said several times, "Hey, I'll be right back." Basically, that's what he said. After his death, burial, resurrection, he said numerous times, "Hey, I'll be right back. It won't be long. There's those of you standing here, you will not see death before you see me coming back in my kingdom." So that's what it is, Vika. That's a short, brief summary of it. But boy, does it trigger pastors and people who are deeply ingrained in their Christianity, especially mainstream Christianity, what I would call the churchgoers, which, in my opinion, and I think I've shared this on here before, the mainstream church-going Christianity, the government gives them a tax break because they are rewarding behavior that they want to see. The government wants people looking outside of themselves to some form of authority. The government wants people trusting someone else instead of trusting themselves in their own research or their own study or their own thinking, their own meditating, their own praying. So here's, whether it's Catholics or mainstream Christianity, always going to church, letting someone else tell me what to believe, or let someone else tell me what is true, instead of me working to have a relationship with whatever the spirit of truth actually is to each one of us individually.
Oh yeah, because if the pastors are there, Jesus is gonna come back. They are the ones, right? That Jesus appointed them, right, to give this message to everybody, right? The most corrupted one with the most money, right? The pastors with their big mansions and their big cars, yeah, have been appointed by Jesus Christ, right, to give that message that he's coming, and they all are gonna keep repeating he's gonna coming because that's how they live, right? That's how they survive. That's their bread.
That is their bread. That's their bread and butter. That's how they get paid.
I had some Jehovah's Witnesses, like kind of 5, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, even, and they come knocking on my door, and I'm hanging out with them. I was in a conversation with these 2 women, and I'm like, I'm open to this, to hearing this stuff. I'll bounce back and forth, give me my thoughts, whatever, and tell you what I think I've heard, I know. And then she brings me a Bible and tells me, "Oh, God appointed special." I said, "How do you know this Bible's the real one? I mean, there's so many Bibles. Why you want me to read? What makes you want me to put, the nail down in this one?" And she said, "Well, God put special people in charge of this Bible, and now we're bringing it forward." And I'm like, it didn't make sense to me. I said to her, I'm like, "I smoke pot stronger than that theory. I don't understand what you're saying. It's like, I don't buy that. Every religion wants to tell you that. Oh, this one's special. I didn't get it." And and it's not like I wanted to. She kept coming back too, so it was like I kind of wanted to.
You should have started flat smacking, brother. The best.
No,
But, this is what I do when somebody comes with me on the street speaking about the Bible or anything. I start speaking about flat Earth.
I think it might have been before that. It was a long time ago. Might have been more than 6 years ago, actually.
Sorry to hop in, brothers, but I love you guys and love what you're doing. Vika, I'm from Nepal, by the way. and I'm trying to get the geocentrism in my community too. And I happen to just be in my work, so I can't open my camera. But I saw you guys going on live, and I cannot stop. Flat earthers people talk about where this. I cannot stop myself from coming in and say, "Hey, bro, there are other people around the world, and don't stop what they're doing." Because right now, I know Victor knows about India and South Asia how they function because I've seen his videos, and I'm the only person right now from Nepal. You know Nepal, right, Victor? It's much
Oh
more
yeah.
like it's landlocked. All things are controlled. United Nations has taken control of the education system. They are destroying all the temples. They're making the new temples in the geocentric viewpoint, and I'm just 27, by the way, and I lost like 99% of my friends, family. Now I only have like few people that I can talk to, and few people that take me as friends. Other people take me as like, oh, which pot you're smoking, or which asylum did you go to, or where you going to, right? And
So
I'm into
because
spirituality
uh,
too.
exactly, because which good stuff from Nepal are you smoking, right? That's what they're
Yeah.
asking you.
And the thing is, when I woke up, right, like every other flat earther, I was kind of debunking the whole flat Earth model because I knew it, right? We reached to the moon, right? I saw it in the TV. I saw the Hollywood movies. I know about the time and space, and we can do this and that. The day I realized, I was like, crying from inside, saying, okay, now I'm gonna be separated from this world, right? Anything coming from my mouth is gonna be honest and truth, and people are not gonna like it. And I'm trying to gather, and I'm trying to go there and find my people, find my creed, find my people that are vibrating in the same frequency, and letting them know that, hey, look, there are other people they're trying to do. Let's gather up. Let's not fight. Let's not segregate, divide on black and white. And oh, this is a global. This is a Hindu. This is a Buddhist. Because all the scriptures before 300 years is a geocentric book. All the religion, whatsoever you want. Because I know three or four different languages. Okay, no one can roughly translate me. And because I was born in Nepal, I know Hindi. It's like luxury for me. Okay, I grew up watching Bollywood movies. I know Hollywood because I'm in Texas right now, Dallas. So you can't, just come over and say United States is great because I seen how great United States is from my own eyes when the homeless people just walked in. And I know I've studied about meditation. I did my meditation. I teach meditation. I know about the chakra system. I know about the sun, moon. I research it. I have written my own book. I've compiled a book where I've roughly translated where the Chinese philosophy, Indian philosophy from Suda Siddhanta, so I can teach out to other people, like maybe Abrahamic way, right? All the Western media are talking about Abrahamic way, but they never talk about Vedic way. They never talk about Buddhist way. And whosoever talk about Buddhist way at this moment, they're all globetrotters, just repeating the same thing because they read it on a book. I mean, they don't have any experience. They don't have any outer body experience, no past life regression. They haven't gone to any medium. They don't have any gurus. And right now, in my country, brother, I know Victor knows it. They killed the whole kingdom. They killed the whole king's family. They killed the whole monarchical system, and they built up a democratic system to get brainwashed from the people. And I'm just 27. Okay, I'm just waking up. I'm much more younger than you guys. I talked to David West. I reached out to Santos Binacci. I reached out to PT. That's like Prashant Trivedi. He's in UK. He's also geocentric, and I'm gathering all the people up older than me because I need to know what I do not know. You guys have done much more research than me, but there are some languages you might not know of, right? There might be some quotes and book that you might not roughly translate it. And I'm coming there and I'm trying to, hey, I know this language. If we can talk about it, I can roughly translate for you. Let's debunk this. And I have added you on my Facebook too, Vika. I think you have noticed it or not. Sakha Dhan Utsav is the name, and you accepted it. I guess it's a page or something. And I will talk to you
Oh,
over there much more often. I followed you on Facebook. It's a Sakha Dhan Utsav, and I have a symbol of
I'm
a
gonna.
bird. And
All right, just let me check. I'm gonna check because I have so many, and if there's not so many common friends, I normally take time till there is more common friends, but I'm gonna check. But
I
yeah,
It's
want
the
brother,
same
it's
thing. The
I was gonna make a
yeah.
comment on something he said. He said, the people that are preaching the Hinduism or the Buddhism or Zen, whatever, that they're all globetards, just regurgitating all the same thing about the religion. Bro, that's so true of most of Christianity too. Most of the Christians who are very unwilling to look at this millennial kingdom idea are still globetards. And for me, that is a deal breaker for a lot of people. If they don't have enough discernment, if they don't have enough common sense to realize the earth is flat and stationary, as we observe and measure it to be scientifically, as the Bible preaches it to be, and they're still trying to defend the globe, then I highly question anything and everything they say about God or spirit or Christianity or any other religion. So I mean that's the deal breaker for me. And I think for me it's worked out well that as soon as someone starts promoting or teaching the globe, I don't have a whole lot of ear to hear anything else that they're telling me.
our calendar, brother, Nepalese calendar is not about the Bulgarian calendar. We have a different calendar. It's called Bikram Sambat, and that is aligned with the moon. When I knew about there is a calendar on the lunar side, and then I checked out what it was, I was shocked. Everything that was being there was correct. I mean, I could just do the same thing and wait for 30 days, and the calendar would show the same thing. And that's why they took off all the system out and made the Gregorian calendar. And the second thing was, this is just my thing, okay? This is just mine. We have two hemispheres of our brain, left and right. One is the sun, one is the moon. One is plus and one is minus. One is male and one is female. When you believe you reach to the moon and it's just a piece of rock, 50% of your time you're believing. You don't have the intuition part of your brain. You only use 50% of your brain. And because 18 years of schooling system, whether you go to master's, bachelor's, PhD, high school, you spend like 14 years of your life. So you're just revisiting the same thing for 14 years. You only use like 20% of your brain, even in the 50% of the logical instinct. And because you specialize, you become doctor, engineer, architect, a poet, musician, you only use 10% of your brain. So technically, they want you to use only 10% of your brain. They don't want you to use your intuition part of your brain. They don't want you to know there are other things inside you, other ability inside you, other instinct that you can have on your own. And it just broke my heart. And right now, like I'm trying to find people like you. That's all. And hey, that's all for today. Okay, I'm at my work. I love you guys. Do whatever you are, and I'll keep on supporting you. I'll follow you up. I'll email you guys, and we'll catch up later. But love and bless. Keep this up work, bro. We need to
Hey,
get this.
hey, brother, just say messenger, all right? So I know which one you are, all right?
Okay,
So
just
we are in
remember the
contact.
S dot D Utsav. Just remember the S dot D Utsav, okay? And there will be a circle with a bird on it. Red
No, no,
circle
no.
with a bird on it.
Just
That's me.
on Facebook, just on Messenger. Do you have a Messenger? Just
Mhm.
say,
Yeah.
write to me a hi, and I know which one
Okay.
is because
Okay.
I've
If you want to come
requested
through
a
me, if it
lot
gets
of them.
confusing, if it gets confusing, you can come through me or Keith too. Vika's got a lot of people, man.
Okay.
For him to filter it out could be like, wow, So if you
Yeah,
want to
it's
come
so
through
many.
one
I
of us
can
Okay,
tell
guys,
you.
brothers.
And yeah,
No
thanks for
worries.
passing by,
Love and
brother.
bless, guys.
Yeah, but you're not
Of course.
alone.
Of course. I could
You're
not
a big
stop. I could
family.
not stop. I
Yeah.
could not stop when you guys were talking. I could not stop myself. Like, no, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say, okay, there's a guy from Nepal, and because all the Nepalese, like 90% of Nepalese are Goptar, I don't want you guys to know. Hey, okay, they are, indoctrinated motherfuckers over there. I wanna be from the person from Himalayas where Gautam Buddha, the prison Buddha was born, and say, okay, there's a guy that knows that we do not belong to a monkey family. Okay, we are humans, and it's a great family. We need to struggle again and be human, not descendants of monkeys. We didn't came from monkeys. That's the point of whole the flat Earth. We never came from monkeys, bro. Thank you and love and bless, bro. Thank you.
good to
All
see you,
right.
bro.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming
brother.
on.
All right. All the way from Nepal. So who's coming next, guys? Come on. The line is open. You have
That's
the
cool.
link. You have the link right on the top of the chat. Come on, jump in, say hello, speak your mind. Have any question? We are here. Oh yeah, Nepal is beautiful, man. That's really is the roof of the world, man. Himalayas. You feel so small when you go there. You feel like, hey, my brother, good brother. Mike, thank you so much for that super chat, brother.
Mike, that's awesome, bro. Thank you, brother.
Come on,
Very
jump in,
cool.
say hello, man. Mike, come on.
We had a good show with THC about 3 weeks, a month ago. Those guys are cool. Mike's a great guy. I think he put his YouTube up there, guys. Follow Mike on YouTube. He's got some great content. He puts
And
a lot of
amazing
stuff out.
souvenirs, amazing
Yep.
souvenirs and merch.
Yep, got great T-shirts, hats, all kinds of good stuff, guys. If you have an idea, if you got something you want put on, he'll work with you. You could do that with Mike. He's a good dude.
You can do an audio, brother. You don't need to do a video. Anybody, it's not that anybody who can jump in. You don't have to do a video. You can do an audio also. It's no problem. Like how Keith is. Yeah. Keith, come on, show us your Keith, come on, show us. You have long hair now.
Oh yeah, hold on. I don't know. I'm outside, man. It's dark. I'm around a fire.
Oh, we don't see anything, brother. We don't see anything. We just see nothing.
Yeah.
So,
hair's got. I haven't cut it in about a year. My MK Ultra controllers wanted me to grow my hair long. You know, we're all government shills. You know, after we did the mechanical realm, everybody was saying we're government shills.
Oh yeah. That's
Dude, there was somebody saying, "Oh, there's this new Flat Earth documentary that's all government shills promoting this Flat Earth psyop." Blah 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 blah. You didn't see that one?
No, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, dude, that was hilarious.
You're calling me a government shill. So
Yeah.
got me into this. I've been screaming about them for my whole life, man.
Oh yeah, maybe we are Illuminati or the Masons, right? Maybe we are if we do some hand signs. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. The hand signs is nothing. Is mudras. You know, these people are using those hand signs for them, right?
Right.
It's nothing. It's just to focus, concentration, meditation, right? Energy points, centers. That's what it is. It's nothing else.
Back here.
So
yeah,
we have.
Good.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead, Keith.
Part of the issue with that for hey, there you are. Christian Americans. Christianity in America is so fear-based. Like, oh no, there's another demon behind that door over there. Watch out, the devil's going to get you. He's going to beat you up and take your lunch money again. So, and this is not all Christians. This is not all of Christianity, but a lot of Christianity in America is fear-based. They're always afraid of being deceived. Well, I decided a long time ago that whatever God is, I'm going to have more faith in God's ability and power to keep me than I'm going to have fear in the enemy's ability to deceive me. So a lot of people's religion with God is completely based on fear and not faith. Now that's my opinion. That's my experience or my reality. So I do my best to have faith, hope, and love each day, not fear, not doubt, not anger, not hatred. So, but yeah, that's just I don't know. That's my take on it. Who jumped in? Who is that?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's up, fellas?
THC, True Tower Comedies here. Mike LeBrock, how are you, brother?
I died right when I jumped in.
You hear
Mike,
us?
what's good, bro?
I heard something like his phone just died out or something. Are you
Yeah.
there, Mike?
I'm gonna have to cruise, guys. I'll look to see you next week.
All right, Keith. Good
So,
to see
see
you,
you,
bro. Have a
Keith.
good
Thanks
time,
for
man.
passing by, brother.
As long as the solar flare doesn't get us a knockout.
Yeah, we just do. Yeah, we just need to buy a wig for Gene, and then we all are gonna be same long
There
hair.
you go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys. Y'all have a great night.
I need a haircut.
See
That's why I
you.
got the hat on. Freaking mess.
No, you need a hat with long hair, right? And then you're gonna be the team of Heliopsychosis,
That's
right?
great. I used to have long hair when I was a kid.
A kid or young, right? Oh yeah,
Yeah, when I was
same
young.
thing.
Yeah, when I was 15, 18. Yeah. That was a big fight in my house. My mom would try and make me cut my hair. I say, Mom, it's just hair. Leave me alone.
So you got that haircut from your mom, like all kids, right? She's the ugly one, right? Yeah, that's the best one.
I
We
got
all
the
have been
pictures to prove it,
the
man.
victim.
Yeah, there's a picture of me when I was really young, and you can see I had bangs, and I cut my own hair, and there's like one piece all the way up here. I was like 4.
Hey,
So,
SD, you
guys,
are back.
no, I just sent you the message in Messenger. So just letting you know. That's all I was doing.
All right, brother.
I don't want to miss any chances, bro. I don't want to miss any chances. I want to gather
Oh,
that up right at this moment. Appreciate that.
okay. I just wrote you back.
Cool.
Awesome, brother. Nice. Oh, come on, guys. Who's next? Who's coming back? Because Mike, he needs to charge his mobile till he's gonna jump in a while. Anybody else who wants to jump in, say hello, ask a question, give a shout out, want to share something, is welcome.
Maybe any questions about a previous podcast? Oh, you know what? Last week, Vika, we never said nobody ever guessed or nobody knew which podcast we did part 1 and part 2 for. And then by the end of the show, I forgot to say it.
What was it? Come on, go ahead.
Ready? It was
No,
cosmology.
2
The
parts.
opening of the 2 parts, cosmology part 1 and part 2. It was just so, man, it
You
was
lost
just too
it,
much.
brother. No, you lost it. You lost it because it was about astrology.
Oh, fucking right. I was there for that. It was astrology. That's right. Duh. Part 1 and
It
part
was
2.
about
There's just so much to cover, though, man.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't full enough. We didn't, we did 2 parts, but it wasn't complete. And we also didn't miss out many people. Like, we didn't mention that Bob Nodell was also on the show 2 times. There was Brett Freeman from Brett Freeman, I think we mentioned, right, about the aeronautic engineer.
Yeah.
And then we didn't mention Anonymous from the Flat on the submarine guy. That is one of the podcasts that was taken down by YouTube, mine. And I got a warning for that one because we went all over. Remember in that podcast?
Yeah.
I have a warning from YouTube from that podcast, and I cannot have it on.
Unbelievable.
So I have it hidden, right? So that was an amazing podcast. Then who else we didn't mention? We didn't mention Gregory Garrett.
Greg Garrett.
Who don't know
That
Gregory Garrett? That was an amazing podcast. Around 3 hours. Yeah.
yeah, that was a long one, bro. That one was great. That guy's just off the charts, man.
Oh yeah. He's really, yeah, but it's strange, right? It's very strange that that is nobody takes him do things with him. No, maybe I think he's too ahead of his time, man. I think so. More than 30 books, and each book is like
800 pages, 600 pages. He wrote 30 books in like 6 years. 6, 8
damn, yeah, yeah.
1,000-page books, man. It's just that's like what they might call auto writing, man. When you just like close your eyes and they write right through your hands, you know, something like that.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't.
that
That's
guy out of this world.
yeah. That's not normal, man. Not that kind of content.
Yeah, but also there's something that I see about Gregory. Like, oh, he's also too much into the religion. This is the only thing I see a little, not like, his truth is his way of seeing the truth is perfect. But that's the only thing I see. That is, that maybe he needs to work on that a bit, right? It's just too religious, right?
I don't remember that, but I believe you, man. It sounds familiar. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. That was one of the first. That was like one of the first 5, bro. That was really early. Probably like one of the first 3, maybe even.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Yeah,
an
5.
intense
Yeah,
3 hour podcast. Yeah.
yeah, man. I was brand new. I was like, wow, what's going on here? Heavy duty. He hasn't written
Who else?
anything new lately.
What?
Have you heard anything he's written new lately?
For sure, there are so many that you get you. The last year he was in 30 books, so
Crazy.
and he's been censored a lot, so it's you don't get stuff from him easy, right? Come on, who else is jumping in? Come on.
Mike said he's got too much going on inside the studio.
Yeah, he's there. Mike's there. Yo, brother. How are
I
you?
was
We
on my
see
phone
you.
and it died right when I got in. Oh wait, hold on. Let me turn this other screen off. I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
All right, what's up,
Awesome,
Mike?
brother.
Can you hear
Thanks
me
for
okay?
jumping in. Oh yeah, perfect.
No, I like that guy's energy. He sounds like, his energy is exactly what happened to me when I woke up, and I'm sure millions of others, It's definitely true what the other guy was saying too about how they keep us away from ourselves and letting us figure it out on our own, whether it be one religion or the other. Someone else is trying to say, hey, you got to do what I say, and I have the answer and follow what we do. So yeah, it's really a strange societal psychological thing happening. Honestly, it's but it is a democratic system that employs control. So I really liked what he said. He's got a lot of energy, and I understand about losing your friends and being young. I'm in a different place in my life where friends don't matter anymore, but back then it would have mattered. So it's really tough to put yourself in someone else's shoes, even if you do feel like you think you know where they're coming from or agree with their opinion. This guy's saying he's living in Nepal. We don't know what that's like. As Americans, we would never know what that's like. I know I've seen, plenty of videos that describe their lifestyle and things like that, but It must be tough.
Oh yeah, the Nepal is it's like imagine being in the highest mountains, like with small tribes and people and communities, so it's very easy to be set aside, if you have different beliefs. And the best part is even the Buddhism, which comes from even that in Nepal they follow Buddhism and Hinduism, that also speaks about a geocentric stationary flat Earth, and these are supposed to be one of the most ancient cosmologies. And the detail they have about our Mount Meru, they believe in Mount Meru. They say that which is the mountain there in the Himalayas. It's one of a mountain which almost looks like a pyramid. It's somewhere near the Everest, but it almost looks like a man-made pyramid, and nobody can climb that mountain. Like they even say that it's supposed to be kind of a portal, right? So these places are beautiful. They are amazing. You just elevate your spirit when you reach there, because imagine 6,000-7,000 meters. We're speaking about 20,000-30,000 feet, living at 20,000-30,000 feet, like you're almost living in the clouds. It's crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
really. You can see planes a few hundred feet above you. It's up there, man. There's less gravity up there too, right? Less pressure, less gravity. It's colder. I was kidding about the gravity, though.
So
Hey, here's something
someone is
funny. The best helicopters have such a hard time climbing up to those heights that there's 200 dead bodies on Mount Everest. Yet they tell us they got a drone flying around remote control on Mars. How you like that, guys? And Mars has 0.05 the air pressure of what we have. And Mount Everest is about a third, which is about 5 pounds per square inch, 5 psi up there.
For me, it's all about the fuel and the math that it takes, and they say, oh, well, we can just, as soon as we exit the atmosphere, we can just turn the engines off and aim that way.
Oh, it's crazy.
We can go wherever we want. There's an excuse. It's funny how it all lines up to be excusable by some kind of means in some kind of way.
Yeah.
It's really quite an intriguing thing, this whole thing altogether.
It is. A lot of it, what you're saying is like you got to hand over your thoughts and your instincts and your own common sense. You got to hand it to them, because like when so we're using rocket fuel down here. When does the rocket change to outer space fuel and start going that way? So like it's just nonsense, man.
There's so much nonsense and gravity and why is the moon just not crashing into Earth? And it's also
oh yeah.
it's also an elliptical orbit. So if it were circular, that might make sense. But there's a point at which an apex occurs, and in any elliptical, the gravity would change so significant at that weight, it would rip it apart. It would rip the orbit off. So it would slingshot. You know what I'm saying? Like the three body problem, all of that. Yeah, you're right. Their own physics debunks what they say, and then they still continue with the lie.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we
Now,
only
speaking
want
of-
to talk about the three body problem. Just us. The Globies don't talk about it. I never hear them talk about it.
Guys,
There's
now we're speaking about the moon. I just wanted to ask you guys, did you see the first new moon this time? It
No.
I
almost
took some
like was
fantastic pictures. You want to see a picture?
dude, the moon was like this, or the first phase was like this. I've never seen in my life. There are videos going
The
viral
first
on
phase, yeah,
TikTok.
where it was like underneath it.
Yeah, it was underneath it, and I saw it, and I was like, just like, what the hell how is it this possible? I've never seen a first moon like this, because I see every phases of the moon. I live in nature, right?
Have we
I
figured
see
out?
that.
Has anybody given the answer to that? I mean, what is the answer to that?
No, it's gone viral on TikTok because I didn't want it to believe it, right? And I saw, I said maybe I'm just,
I saw it. I
maybe it's,
saw it in the sky,
and I was
upside
said
down.
maybe
me.
it's just normal. But if you see the faces, it is never shown like that. Never. How the hell that something happened that is not happening in hundreds of years? Nobody has spoken about it, and that a face starting from below. Holy shit! And I just said, okay, maybe if I say to people, people might think I'm hallucinating or I'm
If you
gone
look at
mad.
any lunar calendar, it shows the phase or any phases of the moon calendar. It shows them on the left and right, always. Like
Always on the side,
Ex-
bro. It's always this way, in and
where
out.
any emoji, there's no underneath emoji. It's always left. It's always all the way through the center and then back to the other side.
So
It's
what the hell is
similar to
happening?
the
That's a great
it's
question. That's it.
it's
We're
similar
in a
to the
very fantastic
Selenelian.
time. Go ahead,
Go
Gene.
ahead,
I'm
G.
sorry.
It reminds me of the Selenelian eclipse.
And
Right?
somebody, exactly, and somebody was saying about that video on TikTok that once the people saw that crescent, the first crescent, like was down like this, like a C, and they could see the whole moon, like almost lit. And they were saying that it was a full moon and a new moon together.
Wow. Interesting.
So many people even took photos, videos, but many also didn't realize it. That I don't know what to think about it. What could be the effect? Because as I say, I've been watching moon like for years and every day almost, right? Unless it's if it's not cloudy, right?
Mm.
I see moonrise, I see moonset, early mornings, right? I have never seen something like this. And I was thinking, right, maybe I'm just my thought like that, but it wasn't. I'm just give me a second. I'll put it on the screen right there.
Yeah, that's a picture I took a couple nights ago. Two of the pictures I took a couple nights ago.
Yeah, but right now, then it's showing like this, right?
Still
So it's
crooked.
taken. Yeah, but if it's half and if it started like this under the like a C, it should be a flat half circle. It shouldn't be tilted, right? If
Yeah.
the first new moon started like a C below,
Depending on where it starts in the sky, because the azimuth changes. Well, it doesn't change, but it goes in a circular pattern over the in a dome-ish pattern over the sky.
right?
So
So could be
it
only
turns. It doesn't spin. It turns.
Exactly. But for example, if you see a full moon, the same picture that you're showing, imagine this is a full moon. So once you see on the moon rise, maybe this part is below, but when you see the moon set, this part is up, right? Because it's
Like
in the other
this.
side of the exactly. Because
And
it's
what's funny is the way that the moon turns. It's like a quarter going around a quarter. It's not the quarter turning itself. It's like if you rotate a quarter around another quarter, that's what's happening, almost. It's very strange, the rotation. It's not a rotation even. It's just it fucking turns throughout the sky. It does that like it's connected to the dome. But it's not. It has its own path, right? I mean, the analemma.
Hey guys, I see 7-Eleven Lucas in the chats asking me if I'm from New York. I am from New York, bro. Where in New York is this eclipse gathering? If it's close enough, I could try to make it. Possibly.
he's saying somewhere in Salamanca, New York.
Yeah, I said. I think that's pretty far from me.
Yeah, but these are the thing, right? If it's the moon is so big and it's covering whatever, the whole US should be in dark, not just strip,
Bro.
right?
Why can we only see it
just
from
shows
a certain?
exactly
Yeah.
because it's a very local phenomena. It's a very, very local phenomena.
Yeah, so like that's what I'm saying. If we were on a globe and the sun was 93 million miles away, and the small, if it's like watching your TV, how close do you have to pull your thumb in front of your eye to block out the TV? Like right up against your face, right? That's basically how close the moon is to the Earth, and that's what's happening, right? In the heliocentric model, it's like pulling your thumb right up into your eyeball. So you wouldn't be able to see it. You would have a much wider range on Earth. Like it's weird that it only goes across a sliver of America. Like, what the fuck is that?
And if you think of 3,000 miles across, we should all have a different view of it.
Yeah,
If you should see it one way here, I see it one way here, and they should see it one way over
as it
here.
passes by, right?
It should be completely different from three different perspectives too. Just like any moon, bro. If you a full, half a moon,
And it would be a partial one for other people. Like it wouldn't even you would still see a partial eclipse. If an eclipse were actually happening the way that they describe it, you would still see a partial eclipse at other places, in other
totally,
zones.
bro. Exactly what I'm saying. You should see it different from, from 3,000 to 1,500 to point zero. It should be all different perspectives across the United States.
Yeah, it's wild.
We were in we had a live once, probably pushing 2 years ago, a long time. We were in California, New York, and Spain, and we all saw the same exact shape of the moon. In different places, I had it at my, almost straight ahead of me. Or actually, it was a little west, and Vika saw it was at low horizon, and Harry in California saw it almost right over his head. But
exactly seeing the same moon, yeah.
Exactly, bro. It was all the same shape, the same size, the same moon, and that couldn't be that way if it was that triad of three different planets causing that.
No, yeah, the three body problem is, they say, is solvable, right? But there's a model that shows the three body problem never being solvable if you change the weight of a single item. It would never be solvable. And then NASA puts out a document that says the solution to thousands of ways it can be solved, and it's in a three-dimensional model. It will never be solved.
Bro, I heard recently that the best computers can't really figure it out.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Because it's with physics, it's impossible. And you're talking about, this is what I mean. So you take one material and then you take a completely like gas giant, and then you've got your ice ball over here. Like, shut up. Just shut up. Just stop right there, right?
I know.
And they're all just and it's an orchestra, just a beautiful orchestra of time and space, right? It's all just fantastically weaving together without any chaos. The chaos theory doesn't exist where chaos exists.
The best part is, you take any glober and say, listen, brother, explain to me how space and time curves. That's it. Explain to me.
It's all make believe. It's Imagination Station.
They'll hit you up with redshift, bro. Redshift proves space-time continuum. We know that. Oh, wow.
I get down with
and going back to the eclipses. Getting back to the eclipse. Remember 2 years back, Gene, we spoke about the eclipses, and I mentioned in that podcast that when the eclipse happen, when it's partial, or even sometime when it's full eclipse, the way the shadow comes in from one part and then turns to some degree before going out.
Right. Oh, the sine wave? What are you talking about there? The eclipse we see?
No, the eclipse we see normally, if it's partial or something, especially, you see it very good. The way it comes in, from the angle it comes in to make that shadow on the moon or the sun, doesn't go straight, because if it's coming like this, it should go straight, right? Out from if it's enter from the top right, it should go from the top left, bottom left, right?
Right.
Make an angle. But it comes like this, and then it turns to go out. We spoke that if you see in our podcast from the moon eclipses. I mentioned that, right? And
Right.
now there are video coming about people speaking about eclipses, and now they are speaking about that it turns, right? So 2 years back we were discussing that. So what it's showing is that it's not the earth or the moon in the middle. It's totally something else. And it's not even supposed to be an invisible body, right? That's why in the debate, when I was mentioning about the magnetic North Pole and the Rupes Nigra or the Mount Olympus or Mount Meru, that's the reason, because it looks like, because the shadow is not moving, it's what is moving is the luminary,
Right.
right? So the luminary is going behind that, whatever is creating that distortion. That's why it looks like that shadow moves around, because that luminary is moving around that, whatever is making that distortion. You get it what I'm saying, more or less? So on the Facebook, there are people who are sharing now this video. Oh, the eclipses turn, right? So that's the reason it turns.
Hmm.
But it's a good point to check it out for the eclipses.
I got a
If
question.
anybody,
This is their story. This is what they're telling us. Yeah, I think we're coming and going. Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're breaking up, bro. All right. So my question is, the sun and the moon are both moving. They're gonna crisscross each other, right? At the speeds that this happens, is the Earth's motion equated into that equation? You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So if they're moving at a certain speed, that's their speed. Where does our motion come into that equation? You know, does that make sense? It's a good question. You know?
Yeah, but we know that there is no speed to the Earth, right? Whatever is
No, I know
happening,
that, but I want to
exactly. But
know
yeah,
what I meant. No, I just want to know if they have that in their equation, because if they don't, they left part of the equation out. Then they're only calculating for two speeds when there's really supposed to be three. Is that right? Or am I off?
right. Yep.
So
But I
that's part
think,
of the three body problem right there. I think it doesn't. It does.
yeah, keep going, Gene, because
Can't hear you, bro.
check, mic check. You hear me now? Hello, mic check.
Check 1 2 2. I got you,
420, mic check 420.
Mic check 1 2 3. You get me?
I had to get some pizza.
Keep going, Gene or Mike.
Well, yeah. What was the question? I mean, I heard you. I had to run into the kitchen, but I heard you say, if the moon's crossing, what if the Earth's speed is calculated into that? What would the heliocentric model experts say? Is that the question?
Something like that, you know. I mean, if they got the motion of the sun and the moon at the eclipse, is the Earth's motion have anything to do with it? You know,
Well, yeah.
because those two.
Yeah, I mean, but
I mean, I don't know.
it's all synchronized
I don't
swimming.
know.
It's all synchronized swimming at this point. Like it
Right.
all just
That's
it
what
all
I'm
works
getting
like a
at, bro.
clock. It's 12 midnight. And it all lines up perfectly.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at, man. It's
All because of the Big
it's
Bang, don't mind you.
well, which you're not even allowed to call an explosion anymore. It's an expansion.
Oh yeah, which is ever expanding. The universe is expanding right now, actually.
Which bro, that got me as a kid, man. The stars with no parallax. I never understood. I was a Boy Scout, and I knew a little bit about navigating the stars. I was learning that stuff, and it just freaked me out that all those people for thousands of years have been navigating the Big Dipper and the North Star and Polaris and
I'm surprised I didn't get that
Orion.
earlier.
I'm like, oh, are you kidding? How is this possible?
It's not. The fact that I
No.
know now that the night sky would change every single night, that seals it for me. That doesn't prove anything about the shape of the Earth, but it proves that what they're telling me about outer space is completely false.
Yeah,
And when
the motion,
they're
bro.
the two separate categories. It's funny, we use them a lot together, but one doesn't prove the other, or
Right. Now it proves that there's no motion for sure, and that everything is spinning around us. Curvature,
right.
maybe a little different, but
Yeah.
it's Antikythera is a flat Earth working model for thousands of years, man, with no history to it. That's like finding the scientists were comparing it to finding like a jet engine inside the pyramids.
All right, you guys hear me now?
I got you now, bro.
420.
All right. All right. So for me, the sky is the most favorite thing in destroying the globe. It's the most important for me.
You think about it, dusk wouldn't work either, because once the sun is past the curve, we shouldn't have any more daylight. We should see daylight up there, but not down here. You should see the rays crossing the sky above us. Shouldn't have daylight down here, right?
Yeah, like we would see
That's
streaks, right? It would be like we would see like a ray go, like just like we see rays going down. We would see that ray
yep.
coming shooting off the horizon, right? As it like
That's
angled
right, bro.
away from us, it would just completely
Yeah.
keep rising in the sky.
Yeah, exactly. We'd see it vertical in a couple of hours or whatever, but nothing.
It might not happen all the time, but yeah, that's a definitely good thought process, because during a foggy day or something like that where the conditions were correct, of course you would see a ray of light like that, dude. Oh man.
Right? Yeah. Totally, bro. And you ever seen the picture of with Mount Rainier when the shadow of the mountain is hitting the clouds, and people
were the shadows like a complete replica of what it is, or what are you saying? Like it would be bent?
no, the mountain is in the clouds, so when the sun goes further away, the shadow of the mountain is across the clouds. So they're saying, oh, that's because we're on a ball and the sun is over here now. So right, but that's not true, because what we were just saying, you see the whole shadow of the horizon, the whole entire Earth's shadow in the horizon in the clouds every single time you could possibly see that. Anytime there was clouds at sunset, you'd be able to see the shadow of the horizon. Right? You know what I mean? So as the sun went past the horizon, it would shine through the clouds into the sky, hit the clouds. We'd see it all the time, but we don't, because it don't.
No, atmospheric plays just such a huge part. It's the other thing why like the night sky would be fully lit up at night if the if I can see a star, just if I can see a single star that's billions of miles away or whatever you want to call it, then the entire backdrop of the entire night sky would be a full on. It would just be a
Be
full on
bright in
bright
the
screen.
daytime.
Yeah, it would just be a
It'd
bright ass screen.
This
So
would be like 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
and there would be different size stars. That's the problem. You think that it's all just perfect, that billions of stars are exactly the so it's just too stupid because they would be big stars and medium stars and large stars. And people don't use any like any thinking discernment at all. You know, you'll ask somebody that and they're like, "Well, there are bigger stars." And it's because they're thinking like so far away and
Yeah.
but when you look up in the night sky, it's all these little dots. You know, they're the same size.
Exactly, and the
Very close.
luminaries plays an important part, like, for those alignment and for these eclipses to happen. The sizes are really important, and the sizes these people, they tell us in the globe theory, are just out of proportion for these eclipses and all these alignments to happen.
A coincidence, they say. It is once you like figure it out, like how could physics fall into such a fucking cosmic coincidence that just continues to be the exact same
Over.
every single night for thousands of years but it's all supposed to be moving. It's just dumb.
Exactly, exactly, and we are in the Goldilocks zone. What an
Yeah,
amazing
right,
zone.
right.
It's so strange.
Goldilocks.
It's so strange.
I said in the documentary, bro, that we have a better chance of seeing the pyramids shift position than any of the stars will ever get. They're never going to shift position. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that
You
was
know,
a
I like
nice
jumping
one.
on and saying hi. I'm gonna go get a couple more pieces of pizza. You boys have a great night, and thanks for having me.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely, man.
yeah,
Good to see you, bro.
absolutely. Thanks for passing
Hope,
by, brother, and for the
hope the
super
super
chat, bro.
chat helps. And like I said on the super chat, we're all a big family. So to that guy out in Nepal, man, we're here for you, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother.
Peace out,
Thanks,
boys.
Mike. Good to see you,
Bye.
brother. That's cool, man.
Come
Comes
on,
hanging out
guys,
after.
jump in, guys. We still have a few. We're gonna be a little bit more. If you want to come and say hello, come on, jump in. The link is there. Oh yeah, somebody was mentioning before in the chat in the beginning about that 500-year-old thing. They saw our video of that podcast, and yeah, they believe it now that it's more than 500 years old.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it was by Steve Zissou. He said, I watched Vika's, I'll put it here on the screen. Yeah, the comment is on the screen. I watched Vika's video recently about the Antarctica treaty possibly being 500 years old, and I'm starting to think it is that old, and it's very interesting. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
Right?
what we bring. Yeah,
That
that's what we bring. Go ahead, Gene.
that throws another. That punches another hole in the timeline too, bro.
Oh yeah, and what they are up to, right?
Yep.
What they are up to with that.
Imagine.
Oh yeah, we still have 15 minutes to go. If anybody wants to jump in quick and say hello.
Hey guys, give it a shot. You might have more fun than you think. It's cool up here. It's definitely fun. Never know what's gonna happen live.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna look into where this meeting is. I want to see just how far it is. If I can make it, I'll try, man.
Oh yeah,
I'm
here
definitely.
Seven Lucas, he really wants you to go because he was mentioning that it's a 7-hour ride. He's speaking about the carpool. He's on, man, and he's saying David Wise is gonna be there. So he really come on, hey, 7-11 Lucas, come on, jump in.
Yeah, jump on, bro. Come and say hello, man. We'll talk about this.
Come and say, jump in and speak, brother. You don't have to do a video. You can do an audio only. Ah, right.
Oh, is he on?
Yeah.
Ah, cool, man. Oh, is that the one that's in like is it near Buffalo, New York?
No, I don't know. The eclipse they're speaking about is of the 8th April, right?
Yeah. Yeah, David Wise is doing something in New York. I think it's near Ohio, like PA and Ohio, up in the northwest corner up there, and that's just too far for me. Yeah, I think it was a 5-hour drive. That's tough for me, man. I got back issues. I don't know if I could sit in a car for 5 hours, get away with it.
Unless it's a limousine, right? Yeah. Eric, you need to jump out and try to jump in. You have to click the link on your mic before you enter the studio. And because I'm trying to add you, but it doesn't show anything. It's just showing me that it's loading. Jump out again and try to come in again. Yeah. Because it's just showing on the screen like that's trying to load, but it doesn't let
Yeah,
me.
just click out, come back, bro. There you go.
Yeah. I think Eric, I think is from that chat from Telegram.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. I think so. Maybe. Why is it not letting him add it? It just shows like it's loading, but
Yeah, buffering.
it's buffering.
I don't know. You were dropping in and out a little while ago. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it or not, but
No idea. But I don't know why it's not. It shows that he's in the studio, but it doesn't show up any image or even the.
bummer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if this doesn't work tonight, maybe there's some other way we can get in touch. Facebook, Instagram, or something like that. I got the same name.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh yeah.
What up, fellas?
Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
What's up, bro?
What's up?
Are you,
So I'm
Eric?
in the Telegram with you, and Snake added me into that Telegram chat with y'all.
Nice.
Exactly. So yeah, we all three are there in those chat.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
How are you?
I just
How are
finished.
you
I'm great, brothers. I just finished Mechanical Realm today, and then when I got done, I saw you were live with my brother Raul. I was pretty stoked for that, and I just wanted to chime in on the point Gene was making about when there's heliocentric supposed model, the Earth goes behind, or the sun goes off the horizon around the curve, how the sky should be lit up. And I've been fortunate enough to be up in Scandinavia in the summertime in July, and where the sun doesn't set. I mean, it goes past the horizon where you can see it, but it stays light for almost 24 hours a day.
Wow.
So it looks the same at 3 a.m. when you walk out of the bar as when you walked in the bar at 6 p.m. And like you were saying, if it was like that, it should be like that everywhere all the time.
Right?
exactly?
I think so, man. There's serious problems with the ball.
There's serious problems with the ball, man.
And we just keep digging more and more of it out, Everything they say, we're counteracting all of it, man. I love it. Dismantling it, like piece by piece, all of us, man.
Yeah, we're all being I was saying that the other day, we're all being Voltron together for a reason. Like there's so much imbalance going on that we need to, there's more of us waking up all the time to bring the balance back and to shut this madness down. Like everyone,
bro.
it's easy to point out all these negativities and what's wrong and stuff, and we got to, just as much as we pointed out, focus on solutions and stuff, and quit playing their matrix, set up parallel systems, and back to connecting with the nature, growing your own food. And it's not a food shortage, it's a grocery store shortage.
Yeah, right. And they can have it all they want,
Right.
And I think, bro, we probably eat way too much, man.
Oh yeah.
We could probably, we talk about other lands, like the whole entire globe has the Pacific Ocean as half of it. Like, 85% of the Pacific Ocean is of half of the globe is the Pacific Ocean. So very little land in that half of it. And, I tend to think there's other lands, the outer lands, the outer space, they call it. But, I wonder.
Extraterrestrials, extra land.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Like, I've been fortunate to travel quite a bit, and when they, it's easy if you're living somewhere like in New York City or LA, a big city, to think it's overpopulated. But when you're traveling outside of those places, there's nothing for miles and miles and miles, man. And that map they give us, there's got to be stuff out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They just show us a blank space, but we've people, and below the, the 66 parallel down there, people can't go certain places. You get shut down when you try to go there. It's like they're hiding stuff for a reason, because they want everyone trapped in these certain locations to easier control and oppress them.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's only really, from the south, there's only 3 places we can leave from. And,
right.
And if those places are all locked up and cordoned off, that's it. That leaves all the rest of that wide open for the bigger military kind of machinery.
Yeah, that was a big one that got me, was the flight paths and stuff. I would watch them and like, oh, we're flying up. We just flew from Utah to New York to JFK, and now we're leaving JFK and we're going clear the hell up over Greenland or somewhere to then cut back down over to here instead of flying a straight line across. It's like, it makes no sense on the globe. It makes no sense on their ball.
Yeah, they say it's a shorter route or whatever. It's quicker, it's safer, or whatever they want to say. I'm not even sure, to tell you the truth.
How it's shorter when you're doing a curve, and how it's going to save you fuel instead of a straight line. It doesn't make any sense. And it's especially those southern flight paths, when you're looking at, the Australias to like South America and stuff, like those ones are ridiculous. Yeah.
And they had something with a Globey trying to get a direct flight, and they're not going to let it happen. Ultimately, the FAA is in charge of all of it, So, and if I'm not mistaken, I think their shirt is a flat Earth. The
UN logo. There's so many of them. They use that flat Earth map. It's like, what's up with that?
Bunch of the maritime, aviation,
UN,
the WHO.
Yeah.
Just
throwing it in your face. Oh, this is just a logo.
Way to represent it. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been trying to get people into, fixing their gardens more, and that's part of what they're doing with all this spraying and stuff, I think, and how they're messing up the soil with all these fertilizers they've been giving us to use for so long, and just disconnecting us. And when you disconnect us from our natural cycles with the calendars and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like Graham Hancock, all he wants to talk about is how things keep getting older and older. He wants to prove the young Earth theory wrong. that, oh, it's older, this is older. Well, that at the same time, and he's a big globy, it's like, well, you're proving your heliocentric model wrong the more you prove this stuff's old, because if Gobekli Tepe's that old, it's still lined up to the shit that they built it to.
Yeah.
And so that proves that it ain't ever expanding, and we ain't traveling 12 million miles a day. I mean, unless everything's moving in the exact same direction at the exact same speed.
Oh yeah,
Even still.
if you guys have heard my podcast lately on Spotify, the ones I've been lately, I mentioned that all
Yeah.
the ancient sites and cities are all aligned to the north, and these are
Yep.
from thousands of years, and that in itself proves, right, it's what is geocentric and what is moving and what is not.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I've really enjoyed your podcast lately. I heard you on I think it was Rob's first on Disorganized, and then I caught you on FirmaMental, and then I caught you on George's on Flat Earth Files, and then had to check your films out. I realized I'd watched Flatten the Curve about halfway through before, so I finished that a week ago or whatever, and then I checked out Mechanical Realm today, and that film's awesome, man. That anti-Kytheric mechanism that thing's badass. I remember hearing about it a few years back, and then just kind of out of sight, out of mind, and then that your film just brought it all back. I was like, oh yeah, and yeah, that thing's awesome, dude. So yeah,
Oh
I just
yeah.
wanted to jump on and say what's up. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to hear more of your stuff, and I just wanted to add on to Gene's point he was making about if it's really 93 million miles away, once it goes over the horizon, there should be the sky should get dark the opposite way. It should be getting dark from the bottom up. And the light rays should be going up. It's just like the same way people in the supposed southern hemisphere never see a shooting star going up. They're always coming down.
Absolutely, brother.
It's good to have
Right.
family all around, bro. It's like with family that I haven't met yet. And that's
Yeah.
the kind of attitude that these guys don't want us to have, man. They'd have us arguing over everything except for the right stuff, man. And that's a great pleasure to be here with all you guys.
It
Always
is, yeah.
man.
Battling this
Definitely.
divide and conquer, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Spiritual brothers connected through this heliocentric lie that just wakes it. Once you get on it, it's just a whole new vibe. It's a whole new. It's just a better. I don't know. It's just a better awareness than like a lot of things.
Oh yeah, something positive to take from all this negative vibe they have pushed on us from all these right lies. At least, as you say, right, getting all our brothers and sisters together, right? At least that
For
is the
sure.
best part.
Yeah.
It's the unity in the community, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I'm gonna get off here and let you guys keep doing your thing, man. I just wanted to meet you face to face, so you know who you're chatting with when I send some
Oh
messages
yeah,
in that other group and stuff. And
That's
for sure.
correct,
yeah,
bro.
we are connected, brother. Thanks for passing by. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Love you.
Have a
Peace.
good night, man. Talk to you soon,
Bye.
brother. That's cool, man.
Yeah, the mechanical realm. The mechanical realm, yeah, opens your eyes, right?
Mechanical Realms, a story about some cavemen finding a cell phone.
So yeah, we are almost, I think, 2.5 hours, right? Yeah, guys, I think you can see that I'm like almost done for tonight, right? Would have loved to continue, but yeah, today was a different. It was a mix of everything, right? We had Raul, after we had Mike, right?
Yeah,
And
Raul was cool, man.
Eric. Yep.
Definitely good to meet Raul and Eric tonight. Mike is always good to have Mike back. He's a good dude. Guys, check out his store. He might have some stuff, good gift stuff. Maybe you want a shirt. This shirt right here is from Kevin Bobick, Density Clothing. You can get stuff like this at Kevin's shop. Kevin was in Flatten the Curve. He's a really good dude. So,
Oh yeah, Kevin Bobby. And also shout out to Sakha Dayan Utsab, who was before with us from Nepal.
all right.
Right. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, open mic. At least we had three guests apart from our main guest, Raul from FirmaMental podcast. So guys, yeah, do check out also the FirmaMental podcast, and let's give a shout out to all our brothers because that really helps. Starting from Disorganized Productions, Rob, you can find on Spotify and all the channels of right. Then the Bump podcast, the Clever Name podcast, FirmaMental podcast. Raul was there. Then there is Auto Limit Radio, Flat Earth Files, Melodome, Austin Thompson. He's also gonna be with us in a couple of weeks. And then day before yesterday, I was in Red Pill Cardinal podcast. That was just out of this blue, just happened in short timing, right, without setting it up. So that was a great podcast too. And then yeah, we have some amazing guests coming in the next weeks,
Oh yeah.
and few more podcasts in the weeks coming ahead too. So stay tuned, everyone. I think we're gonna be wrapping it up for today, guys. I don't think anybody else is gonna jump in inside. We wanted Lucas 711 Lucas. If you wanted to jump in and say to Gene your idea, you still have time. Few minutes before we go out, if you want to. If no, we will be almost wrapping up. Gene, go ahead, brother.
All right, bro. I love these conversations, man. They're kind of loose tonight, you know. It was a little bouncy, but it was great, man. You know, I could talk like that all day. It doesn't bother me not to have specific topic or who's that, Keith?
Keith, what's up? What's up with you? I just finished the party.
Dude, I just was watching Eddie's live podcast, and then I saw y'all were still live. I'm like, don't you need to sleep?
We were almost wrapping it up because Gene was just about to give these closing thoughts before. Yeah, we had few other guests jumped in, so well, yeah, it
Oh,
was great.
cool. I thought
Yeah.
I'd just jump in and say good night. Just tucking my kids in.
Oh yeah. Who wants to wrap up before?
Oh, I guess I got.
Shout out to everybody out there, guys, in the chat. We love you guys. Thank you for hanging out, spending your time with us. And we're gonna have the open mic more, so you guys are welcome back anytime it's open. I'd love to hang out, chat with you, get to know you a little better up there. It's it's so much more personal. So feel free, thanks for coming back, guys, and have a great week, everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks to everybody who's always joins us, right, and who watch us the podcast later. So yeah. And Keith, brother.
Yeah, man. I was just listening to Eddie, and I'll just close with what he was sharing. That it's not just the flight paths that are so devastating to the globe. One of my other points is that those undersea cables, they don't connect from the bottom of each continent to the other bottom of the continents because it's just too far. The distance is too great. So you got the undersea cables and the flight paths are like a 1-2 death blow combo to the globe. But there's so many things that prove the globe is a lie. And there's so many simple, observable, measurable, repeatable proofs that flat Earth is reality. I'm glad that we could see it. It's been a good journey for me the last 7 years, and I still think our best days are to come. I think 2024 is going to be quite the ride. So hang on, everybody. Let's have another good year.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Flat Earth is rocking, and also the mechanical realm is rocking, right? So that's great. Yep. So guys, that's it we have for tonight. Next week we have another interesting guest called Michael Pervolos speaking about mud flood,
Mm.
right? A topic which I need to get a little bit more into it, right? I just surfed it, I know I have my own thoughts on this, but yeah, I think it would be also a great conversation next week about the mud floods. So that's all we have it to today for all of you. I think it was a great conversation today with all the different guests, and especially with Raul from FirmaMental. We're going to be having his partner and him again, maybe on 7th of April. And we're going to go and dig in deeper. So, all right, guys, this is Vikas Drazi signing out. See you soon next week. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, Gene. Bye,
Good night,
Keith.
guys.
Good night, guys.
And bye everyone in the chat.